11 to 1. It's time for Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. The first hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here are your hosts, Brett Stats Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Welcome into Sports Time. Bryant and Brett with you. Landon Schmidt producing. We're Sports Time. We're with you a little shorter today, 2.5 hour show as we've got Ole Miss baseball coming up later tonight. A 6 o'clock first pitch for Ole Miss and Southern Miss. So we'll get you out there about 5:30 for the pregame show, and they'll carry you right in to the game. We'll have postgame as well, complete coverage of tonight's rivalry matchup between Southern Miss and Ole Miss. We've got a little shorter show, but plenty to discuss over these next 2.5 hours. We'll talk some Major League Baseball. We'll talk a lot of basketball as the NBA play-in games get started later tonight. 2 games tonight, 2 games tomorrow night. We'll make our picks for those games. We'll talk a lot about it. But that is not the only news around the NBA. Plenty to discuss with the NBA. So we'll talk a lot of NBA, maybe some college basketball with the transfer portal, a lot of NFL as we're closer to the NFL draft. And NFL news all over the place as more and more talk about adding an 18th game to the schedule. It just feels like every time I look up, there's more and more stories, different things being done about that. So plenty to discuss. But Brett, how are you this afternoon?
I'm doing well, Brian. There's no stopping the 18th game. And from what I understand, the league can do it separate and apart from the collective bargaining.
Interesting.
They can do. They want to do it with agreement. They want to do it with consideration, and because they will have a maybe not an impasse, but they will have a maybe tougher negotiating deal someday, and nothing gets forgotten.
Sure.
So they they want it to be a cooperation, but they can do it, as I understand it, with or without one. On the labor front, I've been meaning to correct this for a while. I was wrong several weeks ago when I said that if there's no baseball next year, there will be none at the minor league level. That's not accurate. If you're not on the 40-man roster, they will still play, and they will find at the minor league level. They will find players. If you're on the 40-man roster, then you are part of the collective bargained agreement. So then you couldn't play. So that'd be a lot of prospects knocked out. But wanted to correct that. We talked about that a few weeks ago. No, one thing that doesn't scare me, but it was a little cause for alarm. So we got the future Super Bowl sites. We know next year, February 14th, a Valentine's Super Bowl. Wow. I mean, I think Joe Namath in his upset for the Jets against the Colts, I want to say that game was like January the 10th or 11th.
Oh, wow.
Now, 14-game season back then, but look what we've done. So, Valentine's for next February, 2027 in Los Angeles, SoFi. The following year, 62, it is set for February 13th, 2028 at Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta. No date for 2029 for Super Bowl 63.
Interesting.
I'm thinking that's the year we go to 18.
Probably, yeah. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, like I said, we've known for a while that the NFL's heading to an 18-game schedule, but it just feels like over the last week or two, I mean, it feels like we've reached another level of the talk, the chatter of, hey, this is going to happen, and it's going to happen pretty soon, and here's what to expect, and here's how it's going to look, and all of this stuff. It just feels like right now, and obviously, we're in the middle of the off season. Not much is going on outside of preparation for the NFL draft. So, we're kind of in that lull where people are looking for things to talk about, but it just feels like no matter where you look, if you're looking for NFL news, the number one topic right now is that 18th game. So it just feels like it's certainly coming very, very soon.
It's going to happen. The NFL news in Tennessee and Nashville is very sad about the Titans color analyst Dave McGinnis. If you listen to those games, he passed away yesterday afternoon. Last rites administered to him yesterday morning. Family had gathered with him. I don't know the cause, but it sounded like it had been an illness, and they were very aware of what was ahead of them, what could happen. And if you listen to those games through the years in this market across the state of Tennessee, you could learn football from him, and you could hear why he was beloved as an assistant coach. Landon, I know you listened to a lot of Titans games last year. Coach Mack with Taylor Zarzer in his first year, but for a long time as part of the team with Mike Keith making up the Titans broadcast team, and everybody in Nashville in the sports business just, always talked about how fun he was, great guest to have on. I think he had, a day he was always on. So, in losing Frank Wycheck a few years ago, two real popular voices for NFL in the state of Tennessee.
Yeah, that's really sad. I didn't know about that. I'm not wasn't familiar with his work, but the fan bases. I mean, they grow an attachment to the people that they hear, whether it's on radio, whether it's on TV. When you tune into your favorite team, I mean, it feels like you have a connection to those guys that are on the call and that have the game to game. Just because you're always listening to them, the stories that they tell, the back and forth. I mean, it really feels like you're a part of the action, and so it's always really, really sad when you get news like that, no matter who it is.
January 12th, 1969, Super Bowl III. I looked it up.
Holy cow!
So I wasn't off much. I knew it was really early in the year.
It was early.
And with Super Bowl, or with 18 games, we're going to be getting really close to March 1.
Yeah, no. I mean, well, like you said, the next Super Bowl is on Valentine's Day, the 14th. So, I mean, you talk about another week, and good Lord,
60 days.
Yeah, you're talking about late February at the very earliest. So that is going to be very weird.
I just wonder if they'll want to continue starting kind of that second Sunday in September. It used to start, even at 16 games, would start kind of Labor Day weekend. The year the Oilers played here, that game was on the opening day against the Raiders. Eddie George ran all over them. I think broke and established a record, hadn't been broke. I don't know. It may have been broken by C.J. Johnson, but he ran all over the Raiders that day. That game was on August 31st.
Wow. Interesting.
And it was blazing hot. The day before, famously, was the day that Lady Diana was killed. But the next day, Sunday, August 31st, was opening day. And they kicked that back. I just wonder if they, to accommodate that, are you going to have some championship games in some cold places that could be historically cold?
Well, the problem is, Brett, we're not going to have to worry about that much longer with all the domes that are getting built in the warm weather. I mean,
tell that to Lambeau.
Yeah, well, but hey, tell me the next time a Super Bowl is going to Lambeau. I mean, it's
but the championship game could be
true.
there.
That's very true. But I mean,
Buffalo's new stadium championship game could go there.
No, it definitely could. So I mean, I don't know.
Heck, Nashville would be cold on.
Well, but Nashville's going to be a dome, so they won't have to worry about
that's
that.
Right.
So,
that's right.
It's just
Kansas City's going to be a dome.
Yeah, I mean, there's going to be so many domes, and honestly, Lambeau and Buffalo, they would prefer it to be as cold as possible. I mean, they thrive in that weather. The fans do, and so they would like to have a little bit of advantage there. But I mean, I don't mind the idea of kind of moving the start of the season up a little bit and starting a little earlier, because you're right. I mean, the idea of wrapping up a Super Bowl in late February, that is weird. But it's it's the NFL. Nobody's going to care one way or the other when it starts, when it ends.
Can't get
football,
enough of it.
And people are going to watch it no matter if you're playing it in late February, or you're playing in middle of July. People are going to watch because it's the NFL.
I love the draft. Are you a draft lover, or are you just kind of tolerate it?
Draft's cool. I'm certainly in on it. I'm watching. I'm not in this year on it. I really have not paid much attention to it.
That's my point. You know why this year feels like a little lack of interest by most. It's not a quarterback draft year.
That's fair. That's fair. I mean, I think that's certainly a big part of it.
And we've known Mendoza going one since Indiana won the national championship. All right, so if Mendoza, we know he's going one, and we know he's not attending. Mm-hmm. We know those things. Mm-hmm. Can't we get that first card handed in about 40 seconds?
Well, we could. We're not going to, but it'd be nice if we could.
He's not there for the big bro hug.
No. No. All you got to do is hand that in and make sure the camera's ready at his house so that he can be on TV hugging mom and dad. I mean,
we can give them plenty of notice now.
Oh, yeah.
They live in Miami. I think that's where he's going to be.
Yeah.
Have the cameras ready.
I think it's a long shot. I think we're still going to get however much time's on that clock plus some.
It will start. It'll be at least 10 minutes, and then all the stuff will ensue.
Oh yeah, no, they milk it as much as they can and get all the talk and.
That's one thing the draft can do. It can move along a little snappier for me.
It definitely could. It is a long night, no matter what draft it is. Drafts have gotten really, really long, but I mean, I think part of it is the fact that you don't have a lot of quarterbacks. I think the other thing is I don't think it's a very strong draft class, and I don't really have much feeling or attachment to any of these players at the top of the draft, and so I just I kind of have lost my interest in it. I mean, I'll watch it and I'll be in on it on draft night, but I don't have the excitement leading up to it.
It feels like just kind of a working man, a player here, player there, help a team type draft. Nothing, no franchise difference makers. I don't think anybody should put that on Fernando Mendoza.
No. And then maybe that's the draft you need. Maybe the less smoke you have around these guys, maybe the better it'll turn out for them.
And all the smoke on.
How about that, Brett? We gotta have all the smoke. But who knows? I think you never know with these draft guys. So it's gonna be fun once we have it. I know everyone in Pittsburgh's really excited to have it. But I am curious what those fans are thinking about that number one pick, where we all know he's gonna be the number one pick. He's not going to be there. He's not going to walk across the stage and have the hug with Commissioner. He's going to be all nice and cozy in his house with the fam.
He will, and Pittsburgh. They've had World Series there. They've had just tons of AFC championship games there, but they've never had a Super Bowl, and they never will. And this is a big moment for them to host this.
Yeah, no, it's huge. It's huge, and I hope it goes well. And I hope there's a big crowd. Obviously, you've seen it the last couple of years as they've moved it around, but I'll never forget when it was in Nashville and those scenes and what Nashville did for it. It was awesome, and so
arguably the biggest sports moment in the history of Nashville.
Yeah, and so the idea that the NFL is giving all these cities that opportunity to kind of showcase themselves and showcase what kind of fans they are, I think really, really cool. And you have all those fans that like to travel to the draft and gives them an opportunity to go to the city and good for business. And so it's a lot of fun, but I really don't. I don't have the excitement leading up to it that I've had in previous years.
Did you see Mark Schlabach's way too early amended top 25 in college football today?
I did not. You're gonna have to tell me about it.
Well, since we're not going to have what's trending today, don't know that we can get to it.
Well, we can get to it right now. What jumped out on it?
Ole Miss 9th.
Okay, let's see. I just pulled it up. So yeah, Ole Miss 9th, Texas Tech at 8, Miami 7, Indiana 6, Texas 5, Notre Dame 4, Georgia 3, Oregon 2, Ohio State number 1. So
all right, here's what I'm going to do with Indiana. Ton of respect. I'm giving them credit. What Kurt Cignetti's done is maybe the most extraordinary job. I don't care the times, what you can do, how you can plug and play. He got his whole team from JMU. What he's done at the ultimate basketball school, what he's done the last 2 years. But from here on, and he may go on a Coach Nick Saban type run, but it's going to almost be my Super Bowl overtime prediction and now my Super Bowl shutout prediction. Okay. I'm going to stay on that till I hit it. And my Cardinals over the Yankees World Series prediction. I'm going to stay with all these things. That way it's easier for me to remember everything that I pick. Yeah. I'm not predicting disaster. I'm not hoping for a disaster for Indiana. But I'm going to bet in the preseason just a little bit of regression. Not 6-6, but 9-3 in the Citrus Bowl.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think that's unfair. I mean, it's hard to improve much off of an undefeated season.
Gravity matters, doesn't it?
I mean, it feels
when gravity got the space mission home, got Artemis home.
That's true. But I mean, you lose your starting quarterback. That's going to be the number 1 pick. Like you said, the plug and play. You can make the argument of who thought Fernando Mendoza was going to do anything he did at Indiana before he got there when he was at Cal? Maybe the same thing happens with Josh Hoover, but I wouldn't bet on it.
Can't 3 years in a row with three different quarterbacks.
No, it seems like it would be really,
Isn't
really
that
tough.
brutally tough conference?
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing. I mean, you look at Indiana 6th in this top 25, and you've got Oregon and Ohio State there at 1 and 2, both in the Big Ten. So we know how tough the Big Ten has been, and it's going to continue to be really, really tough. So I mean, I think that's smart to just bet a little bit of regression there. It's not going to be as
Right.
pretty as it was last year.
Not fall into the Rooster's Coffee Bowl.
No, definitely not. But it would be
If we
hard.
establish if there is not a Rooster's Coffee Bowl,
There's not a Rooster's Coffee Bowl. Okay. I can confirm that. I think there's there might be a Rooster something, or used to be a Rooster something bowl, but it's the Scooter's Coffee. I know for a fact it's Scooter's Coffee.
Okay.
But I don't know about the Rooster part of that. But yeah, some interesting things in here with the top 25. Tennessee in there in the last spot at number 25. So some interesting stuff there, as a lot of teams wrapping up spring and starting to look towards the fall. But we've got a busy show today, so let me set it up before we get to top and not top story of the day. 3:30 in our next segment, we'll talk about tonight's play-in games, a pair of games to start all of the NBA postseason madness, and both of them on Prime Video. We'll start with Heat and Hornets, and then it will wrap up later tonight with Trailblazers and Suns. So we'll talk about both those games, make our picks for those two tonight. 3:45, we'll talk some baseball, as Major League Baseball new series getting kicked off last night. Not everybody going last night, but some fun storylines, some fun results out of Major League Baseball. We'll talk a little bit about tonight's games as well. 4 o'clock, Brent Beard from First Coast News down in Jacksonville. He'll join us. We'll talk some college football, a little bit of college basketball with him as well. We'll talk about a lot of the news coming out of spring practice everywhere. We'll talk a little bit about some of these draft guys, certainly guys that he has watched down in Florida around the SEC and the ACC. 4:30, we'll get back into the NBA, talk some more Grizzlies. We talked a lot of Grizzlies yesterday with their exit interviews, but talk some more about that and some other news around the NBA, as a lot of teams getting ready for the playoffs. 4:45, we'll get to big number of the day. 5 o'clock, Bo Marchant. He'll join us to talk the NFL and the upcoming draft. We'll talk with Bo for about 18-19 minutes or so. We'll get out a little early with him because we got to get to an early Humdingers crunch time, and then after that, we'll get out of here. 5:30, we'll have Ole Miss and Southern Miss pregame for that 6 o'clock first pitch. Let me remind you, we're in our Family Leisure Studios where family and fun come together. The Floor Model Spa Sale, it's going on right now at Family Leisure. It's time to make room. Deep discounts on over 100 display models and in-stock hot tubs, swim spas, and cold plunges. Have you been dreaming about a new spa? Well, now is the time to buy. Spas as low as $99 a month with over $1,000 in free upgrades with every spa purchase. $8,000 spas only $159 a month with free LED lights and a waterfall available on most models. So head out there to Family Leisure, 2120 Whitten Road, just north of I-40.
We are Sports Time. We're live and local and with you until 5:30 today, and we want you to be with us by texting or calling 901-360-8255. That's the Sissy's Log Cabin text and talk line. Hit us up at 901-360-8255. All our guests will join us on that number on the Sissy's Log Cabin guest line. He's Brian. I'm Brett. Our producer is Landon Schmidt, and we are Sports Time, always live, always local in our Family Leisure Studios, and the weather is so nice. Go to Family Leisure and buy one of everything right now where you can enjoy the great outside from now until Halloween. It is so great. This hour every day brought to you by Lexus of Memphis at 2600 Ridgeway and online at lexusofmemphis.com. Great offers on all 2026 models and always special leasing options. Driving luxury and confidence, knowing that every new Lexus comes with complimentary first and second maintenance services. You can call them at 901-334-9673, but they invite you to stop by the only Lexus dealership in Memphis at 2600 Ridgeway, and that's where you can put yourself in the driver's seat of the all-new 2026 flagship LS500, and you'll be looking and you'll be driving in style. When you purchase a Lexus, you get top-of-the-line engineering and design, and they make for the safe luxury driving experience. Online at lexusofmemphis.com. Experience amazing at Lexus of Memphis.
top story of the day.
Well, my top story of the day, the play-ins, they get started later tonight. It will start in the Eastern Conference with the 9-10 matchup between the Heat and the Hornets. The Hornets have been one of the biggest storylines of the year in the NBA because everyone's so used to the Hornets being at the bottom of the East. But this year it was a lot different. They had a fun team with a lot of young players, including a first-round pick in this past NBA draft. But towards the end of the season, it was up and down, and they fell into that 9th seed in the Eastern Conference, going up against this Heat team that it feels like everybody kind of forgot about that massive game by Adebayo. I mean, that kind of happened, and then we quickly forgot about it because they're the 10 seed. This team has not been very good. They dealt with a lot of injuries. They're 43-39. So who wins tonight? Charlotte, a 6.5-point favorite. A lot of people thinking they can get the job done tonight at home. But this isn't one of those games where you win and you're in. The winner of this game will go and play the loser of that Eastern Conference 7th and 8th game. So it will be one of two for whoever wins this game. We'll see if the Hornets can be successful at home. After that game, it will go over to the West where we will have one of those win and in games between the Trailblazers and the Suns. Let's not forget, and I'm kind of ashamed in the entire NBA that this story hasn't been talked about enough. The Trailblazers head coach was arrested at the beginning of the season for operating a gambling ring. And even without their head coach, with an interim head coach in place, this team that nobody had any expectations for before the season started are in the play-in in this 7-8 game. I mean, it is incredible that isn't being talked about more. 42-40 on the season, improvements from the last couple of years. Now tonight, it is going to be tough on the road. They're a 2.5-point underdog against this Phoenix Suns team, but if they win, they're in as the 7th seed and will play a 7-game series against the Spurs. A loss, they'll play one more game to see if they do, in fact, make the playoffs. Like I mentioned, Phoenix, a 2.5-point favorite with Dylan Brooks. I wonder if he'll have the stare down tonight against the Trailblazers with such a big game in Phoenix. But I think both these games are going to be a lot of fun, both on Prime Video tonight, and all the action gets started at 6:30.
And a new world with the new TV deal. No local TV. It's all national now. And if you don't have it, you're not watching it on, well, nothing's free, but kind of older traditional TV.
No,
my top story, right there, the NBA play-in. It starts with the NBA, starts tonight. NBA playoffs will start beginning this weekend, and for the second time in 3 years, no Memphis Grizzlies in the playoffs. 7 years of the really smart, groovy, cool kids in charge. Don't dare challenge them because they all went to the right schools. Don't challenge them on anything because they've got the pedigree. But they've made the playoffs 4 times, and they've missed 3 times. 4 up, 3 down in their 7 years running the team. Anybody thinking the playoffs next year?
No.
I don't think so. That's 4-4 this time next year. We're already kind of baking that in the cake. That's okay that we've gotten to this point. I don't think it's okay. 2013, the Western Conference Finals appearance, now 13 years ago. The high water mark of this franchise, now 13 years ago.
Wow. That's the time keeps on ticking. It's hard to believe that it has been that long, but time keeps on moving, and this franchise moving in the wrong direction over these last couple of years.
Not top story of the day.
Well, Brett, I had to make it my not top story of the day because Jordan Walker just keeps hitting home runs. It is unbelievable what he is doing at the plate. Now up to 8 home runs on the season with a big fly last night against Cleveland. That is now 3 straight games and 6 of the last 7 games where Jordan Walker has hit a home run. This year, batting .333 with 8 home runs, 15 RBI. He's playing extremely well, and we talked about it last week about what he has done in his career. It's been really, really poor. It started not too bad his first year, batting .276 in 117 games, but after that, dropped to .201. Last year, .215 at the plate. Those home runs 5 in 2014. He hit 16 his first season in 2023. But after that, 5, 6, he has already surpassed both of the previous 2 seasons with 8 home runs, batting .333. It's not going to stay at .333, but right now it's been fun to watch. And when you're seeing the team as a whole kind of struggle, it is fun watching Jordan Walker hit all these home runs and having success at the plate.
Brian, it is. And if he can be a big piece of the going forward, the plan for the future, that help. But so far in these home runs, they've been loud. They've been impressive. Not many of them have been in critical parts of the game, though.
No, but
I'll still take them and get him worked out.
That's the thing is, like, I don't know how many critical spots you're going to. Yeah, I mean, he's not out there pitching. He's not out there batting every single spot in the lineup. It's just the team's not very good. Look, I'm different. I can say this, Brett, because I didn't have them going to the World Series. I didn't expect many meaningful home runs from anybody on this team this year.
That 3 over 500 mark might
really
stay
good
on Saturday morning for a while.
I mean, you might be the jinx. You might have ruined it for the Cardinals. I don't know.
Sure may have. Cleveland put it on the Cardinals.
Yeah.
Last two games, Cardinals have lost both games 9-3. That's
not great.
Pretty decisive.
At least they're consistent. I don't know.
My not top story, baseball last night. Mike Trout and Aaron Judge both with 2 home runs in a game against each other. Home runs number 407 and 408 for Mike Trout in his star-crossed career. Home run number 1 was July 24, 2011. Aaron Judge's two home runs last night were numbers 373 and 374 in his great career. Both of them have won the MVP 3 times. Judge is 81st all-time. Trout is 58th all-time in the number of home runs. Judge's first home run came August 13th, 2016. 17 postseason home runs for Aaron Judge, only one of them in a World Series. Mike Trout has only played in 3 playoff games, a divisional series sweep. They endured to Kansas City, 1 postseason home run. 1.
That is incredible. It just makes no sense.
And everybody makes playoffs now.
That's the thing. I mean, it's almost like you have to kind of try to not make the playoffs in any sport now, but oh boy, there just has not been much success out there. But that'll do it for top and not top story of the day. Let's get to our first break, and when we return, we're going to talk the NBA. The play-ins get started later tonight with a pair of games. We'll talk about them. We'll make our picks next on Sports Time.
Add a little fun to your lunch break. Join Johnny Radio for Sports 56 Happy Hour from 11 to 1 every weekday on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Zach Bryan with Heaven on Tour.
Poison myself again. Something in the orange tells me you'll never come
Saturday,
home.
May 2nd, Davis Wade Stadium.
Wish I didn't, but I do.
With special guests, Dijon and J.R. Carroll. Tickets on sale Friday at 11 a.m. at ZachBryan.com. Don't miss Zach Bryan live.
It's time for the Ultimate Hot Wing Showdown at the World Championship Hot Wing Contest and Festival, Saturday, April 18th at the Memphis River Garden Park on Riverside Drive. See over 60 teams fighting for hot wing supremacy, along with live blues, soul, and rock and roll, all in support of the Ronald McDonald House and the St. Jude Walk. It's a sizzling day of fiery flavors, live music, and family fun, and you're invited. Get your tickets now at worldwingfest.com. Sponsored by RS Financial Group, ATC Fitness, Road Warrior Staffing, and Universal Access. This is your delicious chance to make a difference.
Since 1948, in the alley, the Rendezvous. I'm with John Burgos. John, what's going on in the Rendezvous?
Brett, after 76 years, we've decided to expand our product line. Anyone who's tasted our ribs is familiar with our vinegar base. It's now available in a 32-ounce jar. It's so good to base or marinate all meats. I even put a little bit on turnip greens. Something we've been using at the restaurant or at our house has been the Greek seasoning. My father was a cook, but my mother was a chef, and she was the one that put Greek seasoning on everything from a Mediterranean diet or a steak. My mom used it on soup, salad, veggies, fish, any meats. It's a great seasoning and a flavor enhancer. My brother Nick figured out salt and pepper is more than just McCormick's and Morton's. He's come up with a perfect blend we use to coat our shoulders and our brisket, and he used to make it for his friends as Christmas gifts, and they loved it. All the these products are available at the Rendezvous or online for shipping as gifts and in many grocery stores. And if they're not in your favorite grocery store, ask your grocer to stock it.
A beloved family affair and still going strong since 1948, the Rendezvous.
For a long time, home security has meant expensive monthly fees and contracts that locked you in for years. Choose SimpliSafe because they offer a better way. Customize your entire system in minutes. The app-guided setup made it so easy. You have the system live in less than an hour. Get 50% off a new system by visiting simplysafecolin.com. Simplysafecolin.com. There's no safe like SimpliSafe.
Old Dominick Distillery is pouring Memphis pride into every cocktail. From the winning atmosphere at its downtown Memphis distillery to award-winning craft spirits, Old Dominick is pure Memphis spirit through and through. Swing by the distillery bar for a pregame cocktail or celebrate your wins with a guided tour and tasting. Old Dominick Distillery. Come for the spirits, stay for the experience. Cheers to Memphis. Learn more at olddominick.com.
If you want to make money in sales, Flynn Broadcasting wants you. If you can sell, Flynn Broadcasting has a great career waiting for you. If you can sell, we have great benefits, salary, commission, sales leads, and a great place to work. If you can sell, let us know today. Send your resume to jobs@flynn.com. Can everyone sell? No. But if you can, Flynn Broadcasting wants you. Apply today at jobs@flynn.com. Start your great career today at jobs@flynn.com. Flynn Broadcasting wants you.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good afternoon. We got a couple of accidents getting some attention out here. It's already busy on 240 East, right past Mill Branch, all the way out to 385 as you get on the Bill Morris Parkway going outbound. It's crowded now on certain sections of Sam Cooper, mostly going outbound there on Sam Cooper, trying to get back up on the interstate. And bridal season is just around the corner. Shop local at Weimer's Jewelry. Why? Because you always save money when you go there first. Weimer's Jewelry, 7525 Highway 64. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here are your hosts, Brett Stats Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Two games tonight in the NBA as the play-in officially starts at 6:30. All the action will be on Prime Video. Start over in the East with the 9-10 matchup between the Heat and the Hornets. Then later, about 9 o'clock, also on Prime Video, Trailblazers and Suns over in the West. So we know one team will be eliminated tonight in the Eastern Conference, and one team will be set in the playoffs in the Western Conference. We'll have the two other games for the play-in tomorrow night, but I do think a couple of interesting games tonight with both these.
I think so too, Charlotte. The towels will be waving, and I don't blame them. That this is, you can call it play-in. This is playoffs for them, and everything they've been through, and now with this young team that I don't know that they're. I know they're not ahead of where the Grizzlies, where we thought they were, where the Grizzlies in 22. This may be about where the Grizzlies were in the bubble, Ja's rookie year.
Sure. Yeah, I mean they're fun. You know, I don't know what the expectations were around the league going into the season, but I don't think anybody saw 18.5 points per game from Con.
You got there with your
that's true.
Win total.
Well, and that's the thing. That's a great point because I forgot about that. Their win total was, I think, at 26.5. So I mean, they blew through that. I mean, they almost doubled.
Smashed that.
And so if that was what the thought was about them before the season, was about 26 or so wins, and clearly it was. If the sports books were putting at that, then they exceed expectations. And you look up and down this lineup of who is doing it. Brandon Miller, a top drafted guy that's kind of taken some time for him to figure it out. LaMelo Ball, who injuries have really derailed him throughout his career, but he's played in 72 games this year. Con Knipple, what he has been in his rookie year with the 3-point shooting. Miles Bridges, who has been around, has been a consistent piece for them, but they've also leaned on other guys. Moussa Diabate, what he has done, playing 73 games. Nobody thought Moussa Diabate would be a factor for any NBA team before the season started, unless it was one of these tanking teams, but he has been great. So they have a nice mix. It's mostly young guys, but they're relying on a lot of different pieces, and all those pieces stepped up this year, and it's been really, really impressive to watch.
And made it a lot of fun for them. Now, like Memphis, but Charlotte's bigger than Memphis population-wise, and that area is booming. So, but they got to do it mostly through the draft, and I just don't know that you can ever get to the Larry O'Brien Trophy in your hands just through the draft. How many big free agents, that big plug-in piece, this one pushes us over the top? Are they going to Charlotte?
No. I mean, I think it's very clear that they're not. I mean, you've had LaMelo Ball for however many years now, 4 or 5 years, and they haven't gone out there and gotten that big piece. I think a lot of, 2 guards, 3 guards, big men would love to play with LaMelo Ball and what he can do as a facilitator and as a scorer, and you just don't see that. Now, you could say Miles Bridges is a really nice player, and he has stuck around there, but Miles Bridges, I don't know. I don't think many teams are clamoring for Miles Bridges. So, they are absolutely going to have to do it through the draft, but, gotta give them a lot of credit for what they have done over these last couple of years. I mean, the Conconnipple draft pick was incredible, and some of those opiates. I mean, there was, and I don't remember exactly when in the season it was, but there was a time there where all 3 of their rookies were playing, and maybe even starting, and were all huge factors for this team. It was Conconnipple, it was Ryan Kalkbrenner, and it was Sion James from Duke. All 3 of those guys were playing huge roles for Charlotte, and so to go out there and really hit on that draft, I think the next draft will be really, really huge. I don't know where they're picking, but to maybe add one more piece in there, and who knows, maybe they can make more of a jump next year in the Eastern Conference, be one of those protected seeds, and we can kind of see them start, building this core and maybe turning into something. But you're right, they're not going to be able to go out there and just quickly, plug and play.
They're not destination spot for free agent.
Absolutely
now, their opponent tonight,
yes.
It is, and they may have to do something this year in free agency, because you can trust the Heat front office, you can trust the Heat way, but I don't feel like it's this year. They've been in this spot and got to the NBA Finals out of the play-in.
Definitely, and injury has been a big story for them. You look at some of their big-time players in the games they've missed. Tyler Hero, only 33 games this season. As he missed,
does he count it?
That's a great question. I don't
write
know.
it off.
I don't know. Probably just writes it off. But
kind of like I did the 20th century. Anything I did and said in the 20th century, I take no responsibility for.
That's smart. I like that. And so I think he's probably the same. But he's been really good since he's returned. Bam Adebayo, obviously he had the big story with the big game against Washington, but.
Not much sense.
No, not much sense. And,
has there been a Sports Center highlight of Bam Adebayo since that night?
I really don't think so. But, Miami is a very weird team because I do think they have some nice players, but it's just not a very complete team all around. It's weird. It's
not. Jaquez is, has a role, but how primary is he? He doesn't hurt you, but does he turn you into a conference finalist? I don't think so.
No, and that's the thing. I mean, they've got several guys that I think are good pieces. I just don't know if they've got that core of 3 or 4 guys that you can kind of rely on to be that core group to take you far in these playoffs.
I'm afraid Charlotte and Memphis, New Orleans, in peak years, our fate is that of Atlanta. You can make the playoffs. You can make the playoffs quite often. Maybe get into a conference finals. You're not winning all there. I mean, if Atlanta's not that big of a recruitment hook for free agents, then how can New Orleans, Charlotte, and Memphis be?
Yeah, I mean, it's I think a good point by you, and I think you're probably right. I think you can be really, really good. But especially in the Western Conference, I know the 2 teams you mentioned outside of Memphis are in the Eastern Conference, but especially in the West, I mean, you look at all of these big time teams, and trying to compete with them is going to be really tough when you can't go out there in free agency and to make that splash. But I mean, I think you can point to a couple teams in the Western Conference that maybe aren't the destination place and how they're making it work. I mean, OKC, how many people are looking in free agency and going, I want to be in Oklahoma City. I want to live in OKC. They've really done it in the draft. And
here's my answer to that. They were able to start as a franchise coming from Seattle with one of the most promising players in the history of the league in Kevin Durant. That's sped the process for them.
It has, but I mean, they did it with that group and got to NBA Finals, and then they had to tear it all down, and now they've built up through the draft mainly. I mean, you look at their
front office wizardry.
Yeah, and now they've had those pieces that have made it a lot easier. When you can go out there and trade James Harden to the Clippers and get this SGA kid that who knows what he's going to turn out to be. That makes it a lot easier. But
and the money there, and, building a new arena.
Sure, no, it definitely is. But I do think it's harder. But you see some of the moves that the Grizzlies have made. It almost feels like, and not just the Grizzlies, there are other teams out there. It feels like if you are one of these cities that isn't destination like LA and Miami and New York, you kind of have to go that route. You have to kind of figure out a time, hey, we're going to blow it up. We're going to send our stars, and we just want draft capital as much possible that we can stack up, and then we're going to go in the draft, and we're going to trust our scouts, we're going to trust our front office to go out there and hit on those draft picks to where we can really build it around these guys.
And Brian, that's why I was this time last year on the complete total blow-up of the Grizzlies. Just think if the Grizzlies had another pick or two in this draft.
Yeah, well, and that's the question of would you have been able to get that out of the pieces that the Grizzlies had? You were able to get it out of Desmond Bane. So if you had moved Jaren Jackson Jr., I think there's a good chance you could have gotten another pick out there, maybe even John Morant if you had moved him before the season started. And so you look at that Desmond Bane trade, you look at the picks you got back from that, you look at Jaren, the picks you got back, those are for future drafts. But what can you turn that into, and can you kind of put it together and go out there and kind of put together what OKC has? Because again, you brought in SGA in a trade, but I don't think at the time the Clippers were really viewing SGA as what he is today. But you go out in the draft and you get Jalen Williams and you get Chet, and you are able to kind of build this core to where then you can go out and get some of these really good free agents that maybe don't really care about destination or aren't don't have that market in free agent, like Alex Caruso, to bring him in and say, you can be a big piece for us. And Isaiah Hartenstein, he was he was in destination land. He was in New York, and he said, I'm going to go to OKC.
And there were people that really thought he was headed to Memphis.
Yeah, no, they definitely were. And so, OKC has made a lot of great moves, and I think those are the kind of moves that you have to make if you are one of these teams that just can't go out there and say, hey, come hang out at the beach 24/7 and spend your life in South Beach in Miami. It's a lot harder.
I do think another advantage that Oklahoma City had as a franchise that had a team move there, just like in Memphis, is yes, they get consumed by the football monster, college and pro. But they don't have. I don't think it's near the emphasis that we have in this area on the SEC, and they don't have Tiger football and basketball sitting right in their backyard.
That's true.
Like we have here.
Yeah, I mean that's very fair, and it's definitely a true statement. And they love their basketball over in Oklahoma City. But you look at some of the similarities there as just kind of cities and players wanting to go there. I've always heard OKC and Memphis are very similar in terms of just cities as a whole. And so I think it feels like the Grizzlies are trying to go that route, and obviously, this draft's going to be big for them, and we'll see if maybe they can start putting together a core for the future.
We will have more NBA talk and some Grizzlies talk in about an hour, but we want to make these picks. We'll talk more about Blazers and Suns, but you set it up so well, Bryant, in your top story. That Trailblazers coaching story. That's
crazy.
How did that hit the memory hole?
Well, I think part of it is I think the NBA didn't want that to be. I mean, as great of a story it is that the Trailblazers have been able to do this without a head coach, the head coach that started the season with them. It's also every time it gets talked about, it's a head coach in the NBA was in a gambling sting and operation, and so it's not a great look for the NBA. And I think that's probably part of the reason it isn't a much bigger story. But I think it's really, really impressive. Denny Avdia, what he is is doing for this Trailblazers team has been massive. They've got a lot of really fun pieces, so I'm excited to see what they can do on the road tonight.
We're just picking winners, but Charlotte 5.5-point favorite tonight over Miami, and Phoenix -2.5 at home against Portland. Brian, I'll go first. I'm going to take Charlotte and Phoenix just to win tonight.
Right,
you next.
I'm going to go with Charlotte as well, just to win. I don't know about that number at 6.5. I think that's a really, really good line. But I'm going to go with the Blazers in that second game. Give me Portland. It's a short line. Just to win, I know is going to be tough on the road. But I like this Blazers team, so give me Portland.
Landon?
Yeah, I will go. Are we starting in the East or the West?
Whatever you want to do.
Okay, cool. Then I'm also going to go with the Hornets in that game. I think that they're a lot more exciting, and I would love for them to move on. A little bit of personal bias there, and I'm going to go with the Suns on the other side.
All right, I like it.
2 Phoenix and a group lock on Charlotte.
Oh boy, I hope we didn't just ruin the season for Charlotte.
This is where we win
exciting.
The NBA postseason.
Yeah.
These play-in games.
No, these picks are huge.
We're all going to fall into groupthink, group lock on a lot of these 1 versus 8 and 2, 7.
Definitely.
Maybe some difference when we get down to the conference semifinals.
Definitely, but that first round, a lot of group locks are coming, especially on both East and West with the 1 and 2 seed.
NBA writer today did every series, and I don't know what writer it was, I'm sorry, but picked every series, and in his finals, San Antonio to win it all.
I don't hate that. We've talked about it a lot. You talk about the biggest threat in the Western Conference is San Antonio. They've had so much success against the Thunder this year. I think they've played 5 times this year and are 4-1 in those games. So it feels like they are a really tough opponent for OKC. A lot's got to happen for those two teams to meet in the Western Conference Finals. But if they meet there, I would not be surprised at all if San Antonio wins it.
The writer maybe help me with the correct pronunciation of his last name. Zach Kram, K-R-A-M.
I'm not familiar with him. Is he? What site is it?
ESPN.
ESPN. Okay. Yeah. I'm not familiar with his work, but I don't hate it. I kind of like the idea of the Spurs advancing to the NBA Finals. But we need to get to another break, and when we return, we're going to talk some Major League Baseball. A lot of action last night, but a full slate of games getting started here in just a couple hours. We'll do that next on Sports Time.
Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Available locally on your radio dial as well as around the world online at sports56whbq.com. Take us with you everywhere by downloading the Sports 56 app. And at home, just say, Alexa, play Sports 56. Wherever you are, it's easy to stay tuned to Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Looking for sports in all the wrong places? Try the Owner's Box Sports Bar and Grill in Lakeland's Town Square. Fun, exciting, friendly, and comfortable with wall-to-wall TVs. 24 taps for all your beers, including $3 domestic and $5 craft pints on Mondays. Monday through Friday, 3 to 6 happy hour. Music bingo Tuesdays. Daily specials and online ordering. The Owner's Box Sports Bar and Grill in Lakeland's Town Square. Highway 70. Check Facebook for daily specials and weekend music at the Owner's Box.
It's a new year, and it's the first new sale at Family Leisure. It's the floor model sale happening now. Family Leisure has deep, like diving deep discounts on over 100 display models and in-stock hot tubs, swim spas, even those cold plunges. How deep are these discounts? I'm not allowed to say. So if you've been putting off getting a new spa, then right now is the best time to buy. Here's one price I can let loose. You can get a spa as low as $99 a month. Plus, you can get over $1,000 in upgrades with every spa purchased. One other special deal, you can get an $8,000 spa for only $159 a month. And you know what? Family Leisure is going to throw in some LED lights and waterfalls on most models. Room's got to be made, and so do the deals at Family Leisure, Whitten Road at I-40, where family and fun come together.
President's Day savings are happening now at the Home Depot with up to 40% off select appliances. Looking to upgrade your fridge? Check out LG's newest model, serving up ice in all kinds of styles. Cube, crushed, craft ice, and now new mini craft ice straight from the dispenser. From cold brew to fizzy favorites, these refrigerators will have you entertaining like a pro. Shop President's Day savings and get up to 40% off, plus free delivery on select appliances like LG at the Home Depot. Free delivery on appliance purchases of $1,498 or more. Offer valid February 5th through the 25th, U.S. only. See store online for details.
Mercedes-Benz Van Center Memphis has serious vans for serious work. At 4430 American Way, they are the Mid-South source for cargo, passenger, crew vans, and custom chassis. Need one or a full fleet? New or used? They've got it with fleet solutions and custom upfits. Certified techs keep you moving with fast maintenance, repairs, and a large parts inventory. Mercedes-Benz Van Center is your Sprinter Van headquarters. 901-237-9302 or sprintervans.com. Mercedes-Benz Van Center Memphis, part of the Tag Truck Center family, driven to keep you on the road. Your home is your best investment, so why not make it the best it can be with help from Gates Lumber? Start with your front door, serving two purposes, curb appeal and security. Gates has solid construction doors built for security, durability, and beauty. See and compare wood, steel, and fiberglass options side by side at Gates Showroom. It's easier to choose when you can see and touch real doors with real assistance from knowledgeable staff helping you choose the right door for your home and budget. So don't just replace your door, upgrade your protection, and Gates Lumber is the right choice. Family owned and operated, serving you for over 100 years with free estimates, free delivery, competitive prices, and quality products. Call 901-942-3201, go to gateslumber.com, or come by their showroom, 1253 South Bellevue Boulevard. Gates Lumber, celebrating over 100 years with a passion for craftsmanship since 1920.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here are your hosts, Brett Stats Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Well, it wasn't a full slate last night on a Monday, very rarely is, but a lot of fun games. We talked yesterday about the Astros and the Mariners playing an afternoon game to get the evening started. Mariners won that game 6-2, a sweep at home, a much-needed sweep against the Astros. But a lot of runs scored around Major League Baseball last night. You had 9-7 in D-backs Orioles, 16-5 Pirates Nationals, 13-7 Phillies Cubs, 11-10 Yankees Angels as the Yankees snapped that 5-game losing streak. Braves Marlins 10-4, 13-6 Reds Twins, 9-3 Guardians Cardinals, 8-1 Rangers Athletics, and then the one that didn't have a lot of offense, Dodgers, with a 4-0 win over the Mets. So runs all over the place last night. It was a good night for the Bats.
What if you just decided, all right, tonight's the night. I'm all those games. What was that? About 8 games last night.
That was 10 games last night.
10 games. Big 10-team parlay and just ride over in every one of them.
Well, man, you would have made a lot of money last night.
Until the last one.
That's right. Yeah,
that would have cost you.
Yeah, I'm looking. I don't know where the line was set for. I would assume Mariners Astros 8 runs would have gotten you over, but
been close.
That would have been. I don't know where that was set, but that would be the one that's close. But yeah, you get to that last one, that would have been the one that got you.
It's been a while since we've seen the Astros struggle.
Yeah, and they have a ton of injuries right now, and so that has been a big reason for the struggles early.
I can't repeat Carlos Carrera's reason why.
You cannot.
They asked him asked him what he attributed it to, and he said bad baseball, and he didn't say bad.
No, he did not. But it feels like they are losing guys left and right on this roster to injuries, and so I think they're going to be okay. I don't know how great they're going to be, but I mean, you look up and down, especially the pitchers. They're without a lot of pitchers right now, a lot of guys on the 15-day IL, and then you look out in the field, Jeremy Pena has pretty much been injured all year, was injured going into the season, and then it was either the game Friday or Saturday night against the Mariners. Got injured in that one and has been out. So injuries all over the place for this Astros team right now.
Unless Seattle runs off and hides with that division, I think Houston, they have plenty of time just because it's very early. But around 90 games will probably get you something out of that division.
No, definitely. I think
90 wins.
Definitely. unless something crazy happens, and it usually does because they have the pitching and they've got the guys that can hit. They're just not hitting right now. But this Mariners team hasn't looked good to start the season. I think that will turn, but the past how many years, 4 or 5 years, it's been down the wire every single year with the Mariners, the Astros, and the Rangers, and it feels like it could be just like that again this year. And then what happens with the Athletics and the Angels? Both teams playing really good baseball right now, especially the Athletics 7-3 in their last 10. Do one of them surprise everyone and kind of jump into that group and make it even more difficult? I think the AL West every year is one to keep an eye on, but I think this year is going to be even better than some of these previous seasons.
Anything you would attribute that to, that scoring production yesterday, or was it just baseball?
I mean, I don't know. I know, Alan Bell.
A little warmer.
Sure.
Feel your hands a little more.
And that's what I was just about to say.
Going around, but it's going around both ways.
Sure. But I know, Alan Bell, when he joins us on Fridays, he always talks about weather and the way the wind's blowing. And, you get some of these warmer environments and it makes it a lot easier. And so, it could be a lot of that. It's just, maybe some warm weather, a lot of these places, and kind of maybe where we're at with some of these pitching rotations, just, the offenses taking advantage of some of these guys. But yeah, it was weird last night. I mean, everybody was hitting the ball around Major League Baseball.
And the White Sox with 6 wins for Connor.
Yeah, and there's a lot of excitement around there tonight. Noah
Bringing
Schultz,
up the big prospect.
That's right. He's one of their guys. They've got a lot of big time prospects, especially at AAA, that they're looking to call up. Noah Schultz getting the start tonight. There's been some talk about Sam Antonacci, who was on that Italian team in the World Baseball Classic, played a big role for them.
Wait! Breaking news: Antonacci's Italian.
That's right. Yes.
Okay.
Believe it or not, he is Italian, and so there's been talk about him getting called up, and so hadn't happened yet. Maybe
they've been in a lot of deals and getting a lot in return, and they've been patient with it. That's exactly what the Cardinals have been forced to do. How hard one? Mike Trout or Aaron Judge? Who would you take for the balance of the rest of their career?
I would take Aaron Judge.
Me too.
Yeah, I mean, less injuries
and played in that pressure.
Yeah, no, he definitely has. I mean, it's not easy to play in New York, and I mean, even early in this season, the first couple of games where he wasn't swinging the bat well and had a lot of strikeouts, a lot of outs, and you even started hurting him. Hey, what is this from Judge? I mean, he's got to be better than this. And it's
Give him a little time.
Yeah, man, it's the first couple of games of the season, but that comes with the territory up in New York. And so I would definitely probably choose him. But it's close. Both are obviously great players. But every team going tonight, a lot of fun matchups, but it'll get started here in a little bit. First game starting.
Did you see the Orioles manager catch one in the ear last night?
I did see that. Yeah, that
was scary.
It was. I mean,
he came back, though.
He did. But, man,
rub some dirt on it.
You see a lot of those managers and coaches, they like to stand up there on the top couple steps.
And it's tight in Baltimore.
It is.
It's tight almost everywhere now. Because we've got fans sitting on the pitcher's mound now.
Yeah, and so, I mean, it's you get one of those, you catch it, and it goes every time I see one of those, those hits that go straight to the dugout. I get a little nervous.
A lot of the on-field reporters, they usually get down at the far end of the dugout. They have to be on a swivel.
They definitely do, and so it's these balls. They're coming off the bat at just crazy speeds, and so you.
CC Sabathia almost got one Sunday night.
Yeah, he did. No, I did see that. So
might have hurt the ball if it hit him.
True.
Big tough guy.
He might be the one you don't want to hit because it might hurt the ball instead of him. But a lot of really fun baseball action this week. But we need to wrap up this first hour and get to a break. When we return, we're switching gears. Going to talk some college football and a little college basketball. Brent Beard from First Coast News down in Jacksonville. He joins us next.
Pulling process is next to impossible unless you call High-Low Commercial Services. For 15 years, High-Low's dedicated team has been cleaning offices throughout the Mid-South. High-Low's janitorial services are customized to your business. Clean once, quarterly, or ongoing, and get the JRD guarantee. We clean until you're satisfied. High-Low Commercial Services, the biggest and the best in the Mid-South. Visit MrCleanTeam.com. That's MrCleanTeam, MrCleanTeam.com for High-Low Commercial Services.
Napa Cafe celebrates 28 years in 2026.
Hi, I'm Glenda Hastings, owner of Napa Cafe, and I want to thank you for making us part of your dining experiences. Treat yourself tonight with a delightful dinner. Maybe start with an appetizer like our baked sweet peculiar peppers stuffed with goat cheese and mozzarella, finish with basil pistou, and move on to one of our cozy dishes like the double chocolate stout braised boneless beef short ribs with tonkatsu sauce and creamy mashed potatoes. Or a fresh seafood dish like our pan-roasted ginger-buttered sea bass with cilantro soy vinaigrette. I get hungry just talking about it. Don't forget about dessert, our famous sweet buttermilk pie with brown sugar sauce, or drink your dessert with one of our signature dessert cocktails like the lemon cheesecake martini, lemony, icy, frothy, and dusted with graham cracker crumbs. Napa Cafe, open Wednesday through Saturday for dinner starting at 5 o'clock. For reservations, visit our website at napacafe.com. We can't wait to serve you.
Come join in and celebrate 28 years of Napa Cafe in 2026.
Hi, this is Troy Five-Ash, owner of Five-Ash Roofing. Did you know there are so many roofing companies in Memphis that I don't even know them all? So that begs the question, which one should you choose? So I thought I'd give you a little background about me. My grandfather was a World War II Marine. My father worked for the University of Memphis for nearly 30 years. My mother, a pianist at Raleigh Baptist Church. Seems like forever. I went to Brownsville Road, Craigmont, and Bartlett High School, class of 81. We support the local school systems, youth athletics, and believe in what St. Jude and Le Bonheur stand for. I'm a Tiger and Grizz fan. The point? Memphis is my home. Five-Ash Roofing will be around if you ever have a problem with the service we provide. Five-Ash Roofing, fair, honest, and ethical, with deep local ties in our community. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
Five-Ash Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you.
Hi, I'm Parker Trotz with NST Injury Attorneys. For over 35 years, we've fought for Memphis families and won big. If you've been injured, the call is free, and you don't pay unless you win. NST is the way to go. Call 683-7000.
This traffic brought to you by Old Dominick Distillery. Come for the spirits, stay for the experience. Cheers to Memphis. Learn more at olddominick.com.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good afternoon. As traffic volume increases even more in the last few minutes, especially in the eastbound lanes of I-40 from Germantown Parkway pushing on out towards Fayette County. No shortage of radar out there in Fayette County, at least it was earlier around New Airline Road. Trying to get south of Memphis right now. Busy, but it's moving southbound on 55 down feeding DeSoto County. Hey, don't let the slipping transmission make things worse on your car or truck. If you're having transmission problems, come to Amco Transmissions right now with 2 area Memphis locations. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Memphis's original sports station. We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis and W253DF Memphis. Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour brought to you by Landers Ford in Collierville. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
And she says, I wish that I could be like the cool kids.
Welcome back into Sports Time. Bryant and Brett with you as we start our second hour on this Tuesday after. I'm getting ahead of myself. I mean, good Lord.
Slow down. I had Friday been Sunday.
Right.
Slow down, Brian.
Now I'm on Wednesday. It's Tuesday. I don't know. It's Tuesday afternoon. I know that because of our next guest. Let's not waste any more time. He joins us at this time every Tuesday afternoon to talk college football and a little college basketball. It's Brent Beard.
College football talk every Tuesday with Brent Beard, Heisman voter, and on Twitter X at Brent Beard. SEC, ACC, AAC. We talk it all with Brent. Here's Brent Beard with Bryant and Brett.
Brent Beard joins us us now from First Coast News in Jacksonville. Talk some college football and college basketball. Brent, thanks so much for joining us. We were talking about it earlier. Brent and I were earlier today. ESPN has another way too early college football top 25 after spring ball is starting to wrap up at a lot of places, and a lot to kind of make out of this. But I think the biggest thing, number one and number two, both teams out of the Big Ten. It feels like a lot of people thinking that the Big Ten will enter another season as the favorites in college football.
Yeah, they had a great year. Nice to be on with you guys. Ohio State rated number one. That will be certainly interesting to see where that goes. But yes, right now the Big Ten has the advantage over everybody. Doesn't mean it's going to last forever, but it means we know how cyclical that can be, but certainly very interesting. We don't need to run to Las Vegas and bet any money on what's going on here, but it was certainly interesting always to see a top 25.
Brent, when you look at the SEC and for next year, we go into after 2 years of the 12-team playoffs. Ole Miss has made the playoffs. Georgia's made it in the last 2 years. Ole Miss, Georgia, A&M, Alabama, Texas did 2 years ago. Oklahoma did last year. Tennessee did 2 years ago. The real outlier, the one that has been in no playoff talk whatsoever over the last 2 years, 24 teams on a bracket. Some were the same, but 24 slots, been no talk of Florida. That may not change this year, but it's going to change.
Listen, I can tell you right now, it is. They have got an improved coaching staff. They are not putting up with any shenanigans, shall we say, or any lazy participation in practice. And again, they've got a long way to go. I am interested to see Aaron Philo, see how he's going to do 21 to 28 in the spring game that they had this past weekend. There is also a Tramell Jones, is a kid from Jacksonville who is also in that mix too. So there is no question a new sheriff in town in Gainesville, and Gator fans are cautiously optimistic after the last few years.
I think they needed to move on from DJ Lagway, and I think he needed to move on from there. He's off to Baylor. Oddly enough, opening weekend he will play Auburn for the Baylor Bears. But I think both needed separation from the other one. I never thought he was that good, and then he had so many injuries. I don't know that we ever saw him fully healthy.
The other problem that he had, Brett, was along with the injuries, it was interceptions. He threw way too many interceptions. That was a big problem for them. Now, some of that was the offensive line had trouble protecting him, but it was very obvious his last year with Florida that it was just not going to work. Regardless, hopefully he can kind of reinvent himself during this time. I think that's going to be important. But at the same time, that they had some guys had a really nice spring. Eric Singleton at wide receiver, Bailey Stockton, Micah Mays are all wide receivers who really had pretty good springs overall. They also had another quarterback, Will Griffin, who probably is the number 3 guy. Jaden Bogg comes back. He is a very good running back. I can tell you guys, if they can run the ball effectively behind their offensive line, that's going to take some pressure off the quarterbacks and give them another weapon to deal with. So, look, I'm not saying Florida is going to be in the playoffs, but I do think they will be improved, and I don't think we'll see another 4-8 coming up the next few years.
Yeah, no playoffs next year, but John Summerall is going to get it right there.
Yes.
I know a fun exercise really from here on in. Brennan, about a month, okay, give it 6 weeks, we'll have the first magazines out. They're feverishly kind of going to press a little bit over the next week and a half, 2 weeks. I know SEC quarterbacks nationally is going to be fun to rank, and I know where most are going to start in the SEC. They're going to start with Arch Manning. I don't know that I'm starting there. I know that I'm not starting there, and I think everybody needs to keep in mind Gunnar Stockton and Trinidad Chambliss. I thought it spoke for itself.
No question. In Stockton, I still don't think Stockton gets his due. Look, is Stockton Johnny Unitas or Bart Starr? No, but he has been. I think he's been confident. I think he has been somebody that you can depend on. At times, he will make a really good play. See, I think the thing that quarterbacks like that do, guys, is, and Brett and I've talked about this for years. Your best quarterback is not the one that's going to make the dazzling play all the time. Your best quarterbacks are the ones who aren't going to get you in trouble.
Don't beat me.
By either throwing interceptions or producing a fumble somehow. And I think that's the kind of guy that you need. That I know it's boring sometimes, but I guarantee you, winning's not boring, guys. It makes a difference, doesn't it?
Yeah, no, it absolutely does. I know we talked about Florida for a little bit, but the other school close to you that is in this top 25 at number 7, Miami Hurricanes. And we talk a lot of Miami with you. What is the expectation for Miami this year after what Carson Beck did? Now he's gone. Darian Mensah coming in from Duke. There was obviously a lot of talk about him leaving Duke and the way that it was handled to go to Miami. But what should the expectations be for Darian Mensah to come in Miami? And do you think 7 is around where Miami will be ranked once we get to the preseason?
I think that would probably be fair. Right now they're expected to win 10 and a half games. They've got a new offense coordinator in Shannon Dawson, or let me say this, and not a new one, but he has agreed to a new contract, and that's going to make a difference too. Darren Mensah, the Duke quarterback, is the new quarterback there. That's going to be fascinating to see. Look, again, you win or lose because of little things, and they're having to replace like 4 offensive linemen. You don't do that overnight, and I think that's going to be the key, frankly, to their season. I mean, they lost Beck, they lost Brockemeyer, and the center, Akeem Messidor is a defensive end that they lost. They lost some good players. But the reality is, too, expectations are high right now at Miami, and a lot of people don't think they'll skip a beat. I don't know if I agree with that necessarily, but at the same time, the U is looked upon with a lot more favor than it has been in the past few years.
They are, and Mario Cristobal is just the guy to be the architect of rebuilding an offensive line. Brockmeyer was good all last year. He was fantastic in that Fiesta Bowl. They could run that little smoke tunnel kind of under the linebacker screen all night, and he was leading the wedge of blocking. He really athletic guy. And finally, for the much ballyhooed Brockemeyer twins that went to Alabama, at least one finally had a good year. My answer to anything about Miami is if the U is indeed back, that means you got to stay back. You got to stay good.
Yeah, I agree with that. And this is a discussion that we've had down here. If you're going to be good, you can't be good for a year.
You're not back if you're back 1 year and off 2, and then back, and then you have a good. I mean, to be back is consistency, like we got used to out of Miami. Their schedule. I don't want to go too deep into schedules, but their third game at Wake Forest, that coach at Wake Forest, Dickert, is a young up-and-comer. If I could bet on future coaches, the coach at Temple, is it Keeler, Bryant?
Yes, I think so.
Give me futures of Keeler and Dickert, and they're gonna win a lot of football games over the next 10 years at bigger places than Temple and Wake Forest.
Yeah, I agree with that. Virginia is another team I think is slowly coming around too. I believe that's going to make a difference. Really, guys, the team in this state that people are really wondering when and if they're ever going to pick it back up again is obviously Florida State. And again, they look. I understand why they did it to a degree, but they're not having a spring game. I think that's a humongous mistake. They refurbished that stadium. I mean, show your stadium off. I mean, look, is anybody expecting them to be great? No, by no stretch of imagination. Mike Norvell is struggled in having it again. Not real sure still who the quarterback's going to be, but at the same time, give your fans an opportunity to come. And again, there were some SEC teams that aren't having a spring game. And I don't want to make a big deal out of this, but the reality is, I get it last year because you had the transfer portal that was alive and well in the month of April. Well, that's not the case this year. So I'm disappointed for those teams and those fan bases that they did not have games this season for the spring.
Brent, I don't want to put the number on Mike Norvell for next year. I will say this though, whatever the number is, if it's 8 or 9, whatever it gets established over the summer and at ACC Media Days, and as he heads into opening day on week 0, they play that same day, Bryant, that the Tigers play UNLV. There are 8 games that day. It's a pretty good buffet of games that day, including FSU opening that new stadium against New Mexico State. Whatever the number is, he can't afford getting splattered at Miami and losing at home to Florida.
Yeah, I agree. And look, they've got Bama coming in,
or they go to Tuscaloosa.
Yeah. That's my bad. Yeah, they go to Tuscaloosa for that game at the end of September, and that's going to be important too. I tell you guys, right now, and all three of us know it. If you're struggling at like FSU is, I can tell you if they're struggling in October, he may not see November.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, he I think there's definitely a chance he doesn't make it that far. I wanted to ask you this question because it's been a story that's popped up, and I know you're a lot closer and pay more attention to what's going on at Miami. This story about Reuben Bain Jr. that is starting to make big headlines ahead of the draft, of him being involved in this 2024 crash that led to a death. How much was that talked about when it happened in 2024? Is this new information down there, or was this something that was known? It's just now becoming kind of the big story that it is with the draft right around the corner.
I really don't think that very many people knew about it.
Wow.
I mean, listen, it's amazing to me that you can have something like that happen and not much said about it, because I can tell you, guys, and you watch Miami like I did this year, I mean, if that was something that was known, they would have said something about it in every game that was televised. But it really wasn't, and that's just such a shame that someone lost his life in that. But in this day and age, and how people find things out, I'm not saying it was even that it was covered up. That's not what we're saying here. But it's just one of those things where it just, for whatever reason, guys, it just did not get out. And frankly, there were a lot of people surprised when they heard it over the last few days.
Brent, can you ever remember expansion and realignment, mostly realignment, being this quiet?
No, and you know what that means.
Here comes the thunderbolt.
Yes. And look, it can happen at any time, frankly. No, look, this is not the three of us saying, look, there's going to be great news that's coming out. But look, I agree with that entirely. If you follow what's happened in expansion, and I've always loved the expression, expansion is never dead, it's only dormant. And that's basically what we've got. Now, could some of that be the fact that where a lot of these contracts are going to the end of the decade, and then after that, a lot of things are going to be coming open. But the three of us know good and well. 26 seasons coming up. We're a year from now in 27. I guarantee you, and probably even before then, they're not going to wait till the last day to get into expansion. Because we're going to hear something about that, guys. Frankly, to me, sooner than later.
Brent, how did people take it down your way over the early exit of the Gators, and really not a lot of noise from the SEC in the basketball tournament?
I think what helped them was they've got so many players who played last year who are coming back. And look, I'm just telling you, it was a shock that Florida lost in that game. And really, I mean, they had a 3-point lead with less than a minute to go, and somehow blew it. Just could not cover the shooter as he hit a 3-point shot. Could not get a shot off, as you guys remember on their last possession. There's certainly optimism that they have turned a corner, but there was some real thought that if they could have won that game and learned from their mistakes, that they may could at least go into the Final Four.
Literally breaking news while we've been talking. Brent, do you ever go to FBSschedules.com?
Yeah, often, yes.
SEC helmet schedule made its first appearance today for 2026.
Oh, man.
I just saw it.
How about that?
That's wonderful.
I may do my first lightly shaded W's and L's tonight, Brian.
Yeah. Listen, I love stuff like that. It always gets my attention, and I don't care how old we are. We love to look at schedules. So that's the best news I've heard all day.
No, that is really, really good news. What do you make, since we're on the topic of basketball, what do you make of the transfer portal and kind of where it's at? And do you see much many differences between the portal and football and the portal and basketball? Obviously, this year, the story around basketball has been kind of the numbers that you're seeing, kind of the budgets that you have in basketball to quote-unquote compete. What have you made of this year's transfer portal?
Well, I mean, it's busy as it usually is, but I think one thing I'm seeing more of, and I'm curious if you guys are too, is there are more guys who, and there's still plenty of them in it, but there are more guys that it seems who have realized, well, I may be better off staying where I am. And I'm seeing more of that, or guys who are taking themselves out of the portal because look, it's not like they're not making money. They're making money if they stay. But, when you think about it, look, I know this is not important as it used to be. How in the world do you make any progress towards your degree? And how in the world do you think that necessarily going and basically starting over instead of giving it another chance where you are? But again, I get it. Kids are lured into going, thinking that's going to be greater, elsewhere, and so forth. But I do believe, that Congress and some other entities are looking at the portal and seeing what they can do. We're never going to stop the portal, because the portal has some advantages. But the reality is that the portal is, I'm not going to say maybe it's ruined kids' lives, but it has hampered some kids over the last few years too.
Yeah. No, I think it definitely has. We'll see. Like you said, it's very busy. It's constantly moving, and we'll see, especially with these SEC and ACC teams, what they can get out of the portal. It feels like a couple of those teams already getting some big additions. But as always, Brent, thanks so much for joining us. Enjoy the rest of your week, and we'll talk to you again next Tuesday.
And we've got games this weekend that'll be fun to be able to see. And I know Arkansas plays in the next week, which is interesting. But again, I am disappointed that Missouri, Ole Miss, LSU, and South Carolina didn't have a spring game. I understand some of that, but it's just disappointing. But hopefully we can get the whole conference back next year in doing so.
Well, I don't think you're ever going to get Lane 2 or Pete to play a spring game. They detest them. They don't want anything to do with posting a depth chart.
Yeah, I understand. Yeah, good point. Oh, yeah.
Thank you, Brent. Sure appreciate you, man.
Thanks, Brent.
Always, brother. You too. Take care, guys.
You got it, Brent Beard, talking college football with us now. I don't know who this is, but I saved it on Twitter. His handle is @OneForeverUSA with a OU logo.
Okay.
So I'm sure he goes into it with a lot of contempt and dislike for anything Texas and Arch. But he made a fair point about last year. He says this is whoever Tyler at #1 Forever USA is. He wasn't good. He went 2-2 against the top 4 of the top 20 defenses in the country. Got in one-score games with and or lost to 4 of the bottom 8 teams in the SEC. We all paid attention. We all saw that. And then he went through his stat line. I mean, opening day against Ohio State that we all saw, he passed for 170. But he got much better from that. Losing at Florida to a Florida team that fired their coach. 166 passing yards in a win at Red River. Against Kentucky in 3 overtimes, he threw for 132 yards. At Mississippi State in overtime, wild game, he did come back. They did win. He threw for 346. But it was at Mississippi State. Against Vanderbilt. Now, I think a little more Vandy than probably this guy generalizes. But he 34-31 win, he threw for 328. Against Georgia, lost 251. In a win against A&M, 179 yards.
Yeah. I mean, it's a really good point, and obviously, Arch is going to have all the talk around him because of that last name and also because of where
we did this last year, didn't we?
We did, and I forgot who it was, and I guess it was one of these, maybe it was a college football playoff prediction or a way too early that we looked at a couple weeks ago. Or maybe it was a quarterback ranking. I think it was a quarterback ranking, and it had Arch way up there. And it said something about all the people that knock Arch didn't watch him play down the stretch of the season. And I think you just mentioned, I mean, there were some good. What he did against Texas A&M in the last game of the season. Against Vanderbilt, that was a really good performance. But you look at some of these other games. I mean, Kentucky wasn't a very good team last year, and they put up 16 points in overtime. Mississippi State had their struggles. They put up a lot of points, but still, how good was that defense? Arkansas, same thing. You put up a million points. How good was that Arkansas defense last year?
Arkansas had quit by that point.
Exactly. So I mean,
even in the bowl game, when he was getting things worked out against Michigan with everything going on at Michigan,
that's right.
They won. He threw for 221.
That's right. So, I mean, I think there was some good at the end of the season, and certainly I think you could say that he got better and improved as the year went on. But how much better did he get, and what will that look like going into this season? This is going to be a huge year for Arch because I think we've talked about him, and obviously there's been a big spotlight on him, but it's always kind of been like, well, he's still learning. He's still young. Just wait for him to really, develop into the college quarterback that he can become. This feels like the year it's got to be big for him, and we'll see if he can do it.
And we know when the ballots are handed out, he's going to be first team SEC at SEC Media Days in a landslide.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think it is merited. Also, Texas, they do not get the welcome to the SEC schedule as much this year as they have the last 2 years.
No, they don't, and so it's gonna be difficult. They've got that. You talk about the SEC schedule, but they also have that. It is at home this year, but they still have that early non-conference game against Ohio State, which will be really tough. But then, you have to go to Knoxville to play Tennessee. Obviously, Oklahoma being on a
who will Uncle Peyton pull for that day? Nobody asked him that. Blood's thicker in water. He's pulling for his nephew.
It absolutely is. But that's going to be the storyline. He absolutely should. But that's going to be the storyline.
If he has on a Texas hat, don't flip out, big Orange fans.
Definitely not. Well, maybe he could wear a. I've heard some people say that the baseball, the Tennessee T and the Texas T, when it comes to like the old school baseball, that they kind of sometimes look similar. Maybe you could wear one of those. Then you don't know. Is it a Tennessee T or is it a Texas T? But you've got back.
And they go to Tiger Stadium.
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, you got to go to Tiger Stadium. You got to go to Missouri, which is usually hard. You got to go to Kyle Field. in the last game of the season against Texas A&M. There's some tough road games, and then even with some of the home games, you've got back-to-back weeks with Florida and Ole Miss at home. Those aren't going to be super easy games, even being at home. So it's a tough schedule. Now you could say that about pretty much every team in the SEC, and especially now with the additional conference game, it's always going to be hard in the SEC. But
can you imagine the build-up October 24th if it's number 1 Texas against number 2 Ole Miss, and Arch and Trinidad Chambliss playing for the clear lead in the Heisman candidacies?
It'd be great. It'd be huge. It would. Sir, I mean, you're talking game day and all the talk around college basketball or college football all year. I mean, it would be massive. And so, hopefully, both teams will have
the storylines.
Sure,
they're there. They are. Ole Miss against the Manning.
They definitely are. And so it's gonna be tough for both those teams to get to that point, and be 1 and 2. But I think with what the preseason expectations will be, both certainly could be doing that. But we need to get to another break. When we return, we're going to switch gears, talk some more basketball. We'll talk the Grizzlies. We'll talk the NBA, and the Memphis Tigers have secured their first commitment out of the transfer portal. We'll get to all that next on Sports Time.
You have opinions?
I think it's over.
Of course you do.
I don't think it's that simple.
Everyone does.
I got all the answers.
Hit us up on the Sissy's Log Cabin listener line at 360-8255.
Since 1948, in the alley, the Rendezvous. I'm with John Burgos. John, what's going on in the Rendezvous?
Brett, there's some things about the Rendezvous I want to talk about. For example, we make it really easy to park. We have valet parking right at Monroe Street in our alley. We also want to make it easy for people to get to-go orders. You can now park in our alley right at our front door and put your flashers on. People also forget that we take reservations for 6 or more. And we have a wonderful party room upstairs that can accommodate people for rehearsal dinners, birthday parties, reunions, graduations. Our rooms seat between 25 and 275 people. And everything at the Rendezvous can be packed to go. Brett, we also do catering. See our menu online, and we can even deliver for groups of 15 or more. So if you have any questions, always feel free to call us at the Rendezvous because we answer our phone ourselves. You'll never hear, please listen carefully for our menu has changed. Press 1 for reservations, press 2 for hours, press 3 for catering, or if you know your party's 9-digit extension number and the first 3 letters of their mother's maiden name, dial it now. Come see us at the Rendezvous.
Since 1948, the Rendezvous.
Rick's Powder Coating for a beautiful finish every time. Rick's Powder Coating specializes in automotive, ornamental, residential, and industrial coating. With 2 conveyor lines and the largest batch ovens in the Mid-South, Rick's can accommodate all of your powder coating needs. Locally owned and operated since 2002, Rick's Powder Coating will customize a beautiful finish just for you. Drop by or call to see how Rick's Powder Coating can bring color to your life. 901-367-2771 or rickspowdercoating.com.
Ken Garland, you are in your 72nd year of business. Your son William is now joining you. What do you think is the key to your longevity in the building business?
My dad started the business in 1965, and I think being on the job sites daily and being accessible to homeowners has been a key to our success.
You guys have a work ethic, as you like to say. You're not hiring people to be on the site. You guys are there every day.
We interact with the subcontractors multiple times a day on each job site. I think that has been a key, as well as using the same subcontractors 20 plus years in most cases.
When you talk about materials, what is the first thing you're thinking about when somebody comes to you to build a home?
We're just trying to meet the expectations of the client and the homeowner and the architect and give them what their dream is.
When you get a Ken Garland home, what do you guarantee?
We'll be there after the job is finished. We're still accessible to all our clients.
Now I need to know, how do I get a hold of Ken Garland?
You can reach us at kengarland.com.
Tito's Handmade Vodka is America's favorite vodka for a reason. From the first legal distillery in Texas, Tito's is 6 times distilled till it's just right and naturally gluten-free, making it a high-quality spirit that mixes with just about anything. From the smoothest martinis to the best Bloody Marys, Tito's is known for giving back, teaming up with nonprofits to serve its communities and do good for dogs. Make your next cocktail with Tito's. Distilled and bottled by 5th Generation Incorporated, Austin, Texas. 40% alcohol by volume. Savor responsibly.
It's a new year, and it's the first new sale at Family Leisure. It's the floor model sale happening now. Family Leisure has deep, like diving deep discounts on over 100 display models and in-stock hot tubs, swim spas, even those cold plunges. How deep are these discounts? I'm not allowed to say. So if you've been putting off getting a new spa, then right now is the best time to buy. Here's one price I can let loose. You can get a spa as low as $99 a month. Plus, you can get over $1,000 in upgrades with every spa purchased. One other special deal, you can get an $8,000 spa for only $159 a month. And you know what? Family Leisure is going to throw in some LED lights and waterfalls on most models. Room's got to be made, and so do the deals at Family Leisure, Whitten Road at I-40, where family and fun come together.
Top Gun is the largest indoor range in the Mid-South, but size isn't their only difference. Top Gun has the best instructors with over 300 years combined experience and classes all the way from first shot to master marksmanship. Plus, Top Gun is affordable. Gold membership is just $48 a month. That's just $1.60 a day for unlimited range time, free gun rentals with purchase of ammo, and members lounge access. Top Gun 2770 Whitten Road and TopGunMemphis.com. Always shoot with the best. Top Gun Memphis.
This traffic report brought to you by Lauren Tag Hill of Ware Jones Realty. If you're buying a house or selling one and want fast action, contact Lauren Hill at warejones.com.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good afternoon. Watching traffic build pretty good out here now in the normal spots, if you want to call it that. Especially trying to sneak through Midtown on 240 South at South Parkway. Radar well. We've seen a little bit of that south of Memphis. It's been on and off down through there in DeSoto County on 55 just south of Memphis. Watch your speed. Hey, St. Jude's Children's Research Hospital is leading the way. The world understands, treats, and defeats childhood cancer. Log on to stjude.org. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour brought to you by Landers Ford in Collierville. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Welcome back into Sports Time. Bryant and Brett with you, and we've got to talk some basketball. I know we're going to get to the Grizzlies and the NBA, but some news breaking about 30 minutes ago or so is the Tigers have gotten their first commitment out of the transfer portal. Ruhards Vavers has committed to Memphis, a forward who started his career at Quinnipiac and then transferred to Washington State, where he has spent the last 2 seasons. 6'7" forward, about 210 pounds. Originally from Latvia, moved over here, played high school ball in the States. Like I mentioned, started at Quinnipiac, last 2 seasons at Washington State. That means he was a teammate of current Memphis Grizzlies guard Cedric Coward, and sharpshooter, guy that was top 30 in the country last year in three-point shooting over 41%. The year prior, in more limited action, shot about 47% from three. So a bigger scorer, can use him in the pick and pop, likes to hang out around the three-point line and knock down shots. So I think a nice addition for Penny Hardaway and his staff.
What's the size again?
6'7", 210.
Need big.
Yep, no, definitely a bigger forward. Can average about 4 rebounds per game last year, but you saw it kind of improve late in the season. I'm looking at his stats right now over from about January 21st and on, 5 or more rebounds, and I would say all but 2 or 3 games. So, rebounding improved towards the end of the season. He scored double figures in 11 of the last 12 games of the season for Washington State. Has dealt with some injuries these last 2 seasons. Missed 16 games during his sophomore campaign, his first year at Washington State, with an injury. Missed 3 or 4 games this year with injuries as well. But, a guy that, I'll be honest, was kind of a little off the radar. Hadn't heard much of him before. You see all these lists of players with Memphis being involved in him. This was not a guy I had seen, and so an addition that I think will be really nice and gives you that shooting that you really need, a bigger kind of guy you can play out on the wing that can knock down some shots for you.
can't imagine him being a budget buster either with NIL budget.
No, it doesn't seem like it. Again, this is a guy, averaged 11.5 points last year for Washington State. Was a factor for them, but was not, a consistent starter. Played in 29 games, only started in 16 of those games. So I do think a guy that can come in and play a role you really need him to play, but a guy that, you're not breaking the bank to go out there and bring in. We talk so much about how do you build this team. This feels like one of those kind of supporting cast characters that you can bring in and then, maybe bring in one of these bigger name guys to really run the show. So I think a good addition. We'll see, some visits getting set up for Memphis. I know at least one guy going to be here on Friday, and we'll see over the next couple of days into the weekend how many more commitments Memphis.
We're waiting on the two big ones, aren't we? DJ Wagner and Rowan Brumbaugh.
Yeah, and you're seeing Rowan Brumbaugh and the teams that are involved with him, and then certainly with DJ Wagner. I know DJ Wagner. I saw someone tweet out, maybe Jason Munns who tweeted it out, or maybe he retweeted it, that Wagner has a visit set up for Villanova, so he's at least starting to visit places. Don't know if Memphis is certainly. I don't know if Memphis is in the mix to get a visit or what that will look like, but they're certainly going to be involved with DJ Wagner, and yeah, those are definitely the two kind of break the bank type of guys that you would bring in.
How in play for DJ Wagner has Louisville been?
I'm not sure. Obviously
they've made a splash.
They have, and they have done some really nice things. Those two guys they got over the weekend, including Badunga, who a lot of people have as the top guy in the transfer portal. Those are, I think one was a wing, and then Badunga is a big. So, out there, we know Mikel Brown Jr. is going to the NBA draft, so they're certainly in the market for a point guard. And yeah, I'm not sure what if there's interest there, if they're looking for him to add, but I think would be a piece that could certainly help Louisville, and I would believe that the Louisville would have some interest in him.
Brian, I'm seeing now that Diana Rossini has basically been forced to resign from the Athletic over alleged relationship with Mike Vrabel. Mm-hmm. I haven't seen any story yet, and everybody's done the big go back and read everything, that anything was favorable or she got information from the Patriots because of it. Mm-hmm. I don't know why she's being forced out of a job. I mean, this is between her and Diane Rossini and her husband, and Mike Vrabel and his wife, as much as I see it.
Yeah.
I don't know that it's any big journalistic standards crossed.
Yeah, I haven't kept up.
I wouldn't recommend this for anyone to be in a relationship with people you're covering, but it wouldn't be the first time.
Mm-hmm. No, and I haven't kept up too closely with this story. I know, obviously the pictures were the first big thing that came out, and there have been some talk about how whoever had those pictures were trying to sell them to different publications, and a couple people turned them down before ultimately someone bought them and put them out there. And so, yeah, it's, this story's been out there for, about a week, maybe a little less than a week. And, everyone's been waiting for any word from anybody. And now, it seems like she's done at the Athletic. And yeah, I mean,
and he's not done with the Patriots.
He's certainly not going to be done with the Patriots. And so, yeah, I mean, I don't know, I'm sure there's going to be people that want to know and hopefully, investigate to see if there, was she getting, inside information, if there is a relationship going on there. But I haven't seen anybody that's gone back and pointed out and said, hey, see here, this is something she got from being in the inside. But when you have something like that happen, it definitely brings into question professionalism, and should you be doing that, and everything that goes about that. But at the end of the day, this is like you said, a matter between.
No, I wouldn't recommend it.
No, definitely not. But it is a matter between her and her husband and Vrabel, and
I don't know if it's
what goes on there. No,
I mean, honestly, I don't know that I have thought about Diana Rossini since she left ESPN. I didn't know she was at the Athletic until this scandalous story broke last week.
She's been very prominent. She is one of the biggest NFL reporters over at the Athletic.
I've never read out a written word.
And yeah, I mean, she's been pretty big over the last couple of years with the Athletic, and I thought did a really nice job for the Athletic. And so we'll see here. That's news to me that it was kind of more of a forced exit from the Athletic. I just kind of briefly seen her statement and her resignation from the Athletic. So kind of had been waiting for the Athletic to kind of say anything because they've been rather quiet on the issue. So who knows
if
where
she's that good, she'll get rehired somewhere.
That's right. Yeah, we're can do be independent. You're seeing a lot of people now.
I can't imagine the NFL not going to get covered, not exist without Diana Rossini.
No, it'll be fine.
Or anyone else.
With or without her. And so, but certainly has been an interesting story to say the least over the last week. But again, we are in that part of the off season of the NFL where not much is going on, and stories like this become very, very big.
Yeah, and this angle as well. That the Athletic has struggled since its beginning to make money.
Mm-hmm.
It is now, is it wholly owned by the New York Times?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And it has been struggling. I would imagine, and I get this from a friend, and it's a good take, she's probably making huge money.
Oh, yeah.
This is a good way to get out of huge money.
Yeah, no, I mean, it certainly is. And, I think that's probably why along the lines of she resigned as it was kind of laid out there because, that will certainly save them some money. And, look, I'm a subscriber of The Athletic. I enjoy The Athletic. I think they've got some great reporters that do, really, really great work over there. But you're right, in this day and age of media, it's tough. And we're in a really hard time for a lot of writers. And Diana Rossini, she, again, was one of their top NFL reporters. And when you talk about the biggest reporter for a network and the biggest sport, I'm sure it was a pretty hefty contract that she had.
Yeah.
So
we really didn't get to the Phoenix-Portland game. We didn't at 3:30, and now we haven't then. I picked Phoenix based solely on I trust the guards and Devin Booker and Phoenix more than anything else tonight.
Yeah, I mean it's a smart reason to back them. When you've got a guy like Devin Booker, it's been weird because it really hasn't worked for Phoenix. They had that 1 year where they went on a run, but outside of that, the Devin Booker in Phoenix has not come with a ton of postseason success, even though he's a terrific player, and nobody in Phoenix would even think about getting rid of him or moving him in a trade. But it's just been kind of weird. And so now tonight with this game against Portland, I would probably, say Portland or Phoenix has the upper hand, but I was the lone wolf on Portland. I think it's just of kind of, I don't want to go chalk on all these play-in games. A lot of times we see an upset happen in this, and I just feel like this young Trailblazers team, will be a little more motivated tonight. It will be on the road, so they'll need a lot of motivation in their corner. But Portland's a weird mix of kind of young and old, and I think they've got a good shot tonight. So we'll see what happens with both these games later tonight. Again, Prime Video for both the game that starts at 6:30 and that 9 o'clock game between the Trailblazers and the
try to listen somehow.
Yeah, I don't know how you're going to do that. I have
local radio. I can find that, can't I?
Maybe. I don't know. Brett, I'm not the guy to ask about where to find, especially NBA games on the radio when they're being played out elsewhere. I'm no help, so I'm sure you can find it somewhere. We're in 2026.
Price I paid for something attached to my roof.
That's right. And this day and age of sports, it's streaming only. And I didn't even know, and you brought it up yesterday about 3 of the 4 games on Saturday on Prime Video. So
not till Saturday night.
That's wild, but that is the world we live in. But let's get to another break, and when we return, it'll be time for Big Number of the Day.
Not only can you listen to your favorite shows on Sports 56, you can also watch video of the shows live on Twitter and YouTube. Watch and listen every day
at Sports 56 WHBQ.
Guns, guns, and more guns. Over 700 firearms in stock. Home defense guns, old guns, new guns, used guns, big guns, little guns. Every gun you can think of, Classic Arms has them. All brands like Glock, Sig, Colt, Ruger, Smith & Wesson, Brownie, Beretta, Benelli, Remington, Winchester, and more. Guaranteed lowest prices in town. Only gun importer in the Mid-South. Free gun inspections and appraisals and free bore sighting for the upcoming deer season. Shop online at ClassicArmsOfMemphis.com or visit Classic Arms at 1740 Germantown Parkway behind Corky's Barbecue in Cordova.
Let me ask you something.
I bet it's Central Barbecue related.
It is Central Barbecue related.
Shoot.
You don't want me to ask you a Central Barbecue related question?
No, I mean shoot as in go ahead and ask.
Oh, you can be very confusing.
Ask your question.
Which one of Central Barbecue's sauces is your favorite?
That's a trick question because, Central Barbecue's slogan is smoke is our sauce, so you don't really even need a sauce.
Other than smoke, what's your favorite sauce?
I can't do all of them all. Mild, hot, mustard, vinegar, hot vinegar, sweet heat, all of them.
And that is how you make a Central Barbecue radio commercial.
I'm Gary York. I'm the service director at Lexus in Memphis. Our service department wants to be more than just a place where you get your oil changed. We do glass repair, windshield replacement, recalibration of your camera and sonar systems, even wheel repair, tire replacement, all the things you would expect from a luxury automotive dealer. Please check out our website. You can schedule your appointment, check out our specials, hours of operation, or if you'd like to do it in person, please reach out to one of our associates at 901-271-5199.
Old Dominick Distillery is pure Memphis spirit, all the way from the winning atmosphere at their downtown distillery to award-winning craft spirits. And there's always something happening. April 16th, Old Dominick presents an evening with Fred Minnick, accomplished bourbon critic and journalist. Your ticket includes a copy of Bottom Shelf, How a Forgotten Brand of Bourbon Saved One Man's Life, a book signing, small bites, and a drink. April 18th, you're invited to Old Dominick's Crawfish Boil. Rock out the music by the Risky Whiskey Boys. Eat big and wash it all down with a craft cocktail or local beer. Plus, you can always swing by the distillery bar for a pregame cocktail or celebrate your wins with a guided tour and tasting. Old Dominick Distillery. Come for the spirits, stay for the experience. Cheers to Memphis. Learn more at olddominick.com.
A long life is wonderful, but it comes with changes as you age. So when you're ready to change your home, Town Village Audubon Park is the perfect choice. Incredible location, amazing amenities, including a pool, all-inclusive dining, and on-site medical care so you can age in place. Monthly rental with no buy-in lets you make current choices. Apartments include full kitchen, washer and dryer, bi-weekly housekeeping, and all basic utilities. Landscape courtyards make it easy to get sunshine and fresh air. Gated parking keeps you ready to go. And the Town Village Dog Park keeps your fur baby close by your side. Hi, I'm Max. My wife Jean and I moved into Town Village Audubon Park 18 months ago. It's the best decision we ever made. We have made friends here and take part in lots of social activities. It's a comfortable life. So if you're thinking of making a change, come see me and Town Village Audubon Park. I think you'll like it as much as we do. And look, new friends.
Do you know one of the best things you can do for your employees or family's health? Provide Arctic Clear bottled water. Arctic Clear bottled water is your locally owned and operated bottled water provider. Arctic Clear is 100% natural spring water with free delivery and setup, dependable service, and no long-term contracts. What an easy choice. Call Jeff Manus today, 901-382-2363, or visit arctic-clear.com. Arctic Clear bottled water. Call now, 382-2363. That's 382-2363.
After a crash, insurance companies want you to settle for less. NST doesn't play that game. For over 35 years, we've won big for Memphis families. Injured, the call is free, and you don't pay unless we win. NST is the way to go. Call 683-7000.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour brought to you by Landers Ford and Collierville. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
When you hear the sound coming.
Big Daddy.
Hello, Big Brown. It's a guy, he wants to be big, then he gets big, he doesn't want to be big anymore, then he gets small, but the suit's too big.
Big Daddy.
The big boy.
What up, big guy?
I think she's trying to pull a fast one on Big Daddy.
The big number of the day.
All right, Brett, I think we should switch it up again today and have you go first.
I will. I'll go first, and my number is 637.
Okay.
That's .637. That's the percentage of making the playoffs all time for the Atlanta Hawks in Atlanta. That's 37 out of 58 years. In that time, 2 Eastern Conference Finals appearances. They've never been to the NBA Finals, and they've lost twice in Atlanta in the Western Division Finals.
Wow.
In the first 2 years they were in Atlanta. Well, I know. geography, we really didn't have it right with the Braves in the National League West and Atlanta after moving from St. Louis in the Western Division of the NBA. But the first 2 years they were in the NBA, 69 and 70, lost 4-1 and 4-0 to the Lakers in 69 and 70 in the Western Division Championship.
Wow.
Not Western Conference, Western Division.
Wow, that is that's crazy. That is a really, really good big number. My big number also comes from the NBA, but it has to do with Charlotte and Con Knippel. That big number is the number 273. Earlier this season, Con Knippel broke the rookie three-point record by making his 207th three-pointer earlier this year. That was a record set in the 2022-23 season by Keegan Murray, but he blew through that, finishing the regular season with 273 made three-pointers. He has been just out of this world this season for Charlotte, averaging 18.5 points per game and shooting 42.5% from three-point range on 7.9 attempts per game.
That's volume shooting.
Oh my gosh! I mean, it is green light for Con Knippel, and that is the reason we even have the argument about who is Rookie of the Year, because Con Knippel was just lights out all season long.
Yeah, he's closing at some of the odds places, but I got to see it. Cooper Flagg was so anointed and lived up to it.
He did. No, Cooper Flagg was incredible all season long. He played his role, but Con Knippel, you got to give him a lot of credit, even if he doesn't win Rookie of the Year for the season that he put together, because I think in any other year, other than this year, the Wemby year, and obviously some other years, most years Con Knippel would be the runaway Rookie of the Year.
Title sponsor of this hour every day. They're the number one runaway Ford dealership in the Mid-South, and that's Landers Ford in Collierville, your trusted destination for a vehicle that fits any lifestyle, any price point, with a seamless shopping experience, from vehicle choice to financing and to service. From the Ford Escape to the rugged F-150 to the adventurous Bronco, every vehicle built with those Ford tough standards. Ford F-150, America's best-selling truck. But they have SUVs like the Ford Bronco, the Ford Expedition, the Ford Explorer, the Ford Escape, EVs, hybrids, and transparency and professionalism and long-term support and friendship at Landers Ford in Collierville. No fine print. It's right there. Very bold. The oil changes, any service, tires rotated. Go online and schedule when it suits you the best to meet your schedule. That's what matters, you, the customer, at Landers Ford. Active in our community in Collierville at 2082 West Poplar Avenue, or online at LandersFordMemphis.com. If it doesn't say Landers, you paid too much.
So we talked about Diana Rossini earlier with that story, and you mentioned that we didn't have enough time to get to this game because we were supposed to talk NBA in the last segment, and we did not. So we have a couple of minutes here.
We blew it.
To talk. It's okay. It's all right because it's a shorter show. It's been these days where we got Ole Miss baseball, they become a little wild. But another thing I did want to point out about the Trailblazers and this team, and we just didn't have enough time in that last segment, Donovan Clingan. What he's put together over the first couple years in the NBA, he was another one of those guys coming into that draft. He was in the Edey draft. 12.1 points, 11.6 rebounds.
Done it quietly.
He's done it very quickly. And part of that is being in Portland.
Way out there.
Way out there, and just kind of what Portland is every year. My question is, and he was drafted before. He was drafted with the 7th pick, but there was thought of maybe moving up to go get him. Without the injuries to Zach Edey, would you have rather had Donovan Clingan instead of Edey, or is Edey
I did
fine?
That night. I wanted it then.
I couldn't remember. Because I didn't want either.
Oh, you didn't?
No, not at all.
Kessler was the year before them, wasn't he?
Kessler might have been. He was either the year before or 2 years before them. But yeah, he was definitely before them.
I didn't want to bring it up with DeMichael yesterday, and I don't know that I want to with Rob Fisher, that's going to join us regularly starting tomorrow at 5 all the way through the NBA draft. I don't know that I want to lob this in their laps. I don't. Because, look, there are times that I don't want to have to answer for everything at Ole Miss.
Sure.
Look, I'm not in charge. But boy, that next Edie injury.
Yeah.
You realize the freak out level.
Well, it's so weird because, and again, I was
and you just know it's coming.
Oh, I mean, it's coming. And I was against Edie. I didn't want to draft Edie. I really didn't want Klingon either, and Klingon made me look wrong because he's played really well. But the whole thing, the biggest part of Zach Edey, whether you liked him, you didn't like him, you wanted the Grizzlies to draft him, or you didn't want the Grizzlies to draft him, the biggest talking point after he got drafted was he was always healthy.
Never been hurt.
Never hurt at Purdue. And what was it, the first
no
summer
knee trouble,
game?
No knee pads,
Right.
no icing down.
Nothing. And I think it was either the first or the second summer league game where he has the sprained ankle. And then he's out, and then he comes back, and he has another sprained ankle, and then since then, it has just been injury after injury. So
You know one thing about him.
What's that?
You can't teach 7-3.
Well, that's the thing. You can't teach 7-3. And so Donovan Klingon, a little different because he was drafted before, so wouldn't have been available, but I know there was a lot of thought that night of moving up to go and get Klingon because it feels like those two in that draft class will be connected. But he could be a big piece tonight, again, averaging 12.1 points and 11.6 rebounds. But we need to wrap up this second hour. When we return, again, a shorter segment as we're out early for Ole Miss baseball against Southern Miss. But we're going to talk the NFL. We're going to talk the draft. Bo Marchant, he joins us next.
You have opinions?
I think it's over.
Of course you do.
I don't think it's that simple.
Everyone does.
I got all the answers.
Hit us up on the Sissy's Log Cabin listener line at 360-8255.
It's golf time. What's my first thought? Miramichi. Of course, Miramichi. Sometimes you need just to escape the hustle and bustle of life, and that's exactly what Miramichi will provide. It means the place of happy retreat, and I promise you, it lives up to its name. While it might not be in the heart of Shelby County, it's certainly worth the drive. It's 25 minutes from my driveway in East Memphis. Once you arrive at the front door, you know you're going to get an experience unlike any other public golf course in town. Let's start with practice facilities. Not all are created equal, and you will find none better than those at Miramichi. The range is an impressive 12-acre space. It allows you to spread out and practice for those long drives. They got a great short game place. They've got a chipping green. They've got a putting green. They're beyond compare. You want to get better? You go to Miramichi. You want a great competitive golf course? You go to Miramichi. It's worth the drive. I love it. Miramichi.
Looking for sports in all the wrong places? Try the Owner's Box Sports Bar and Grill in Lakeland's Town Square. Fun, exciting, friendly, and comfortable with wall-to-wall TVs. 24 taps for all your beers, including $3 domestic and $5 craft pints on Mondays. Monday through Friday, 3 to 6 happy hour. Music bingo Tuesdays. Daily specials and online ordering. The Owner's Box Sports Bar and Grill in Lakeland's Town Square. Highway 70. Check Facebook for daily specials and weekend music at the Owner's Box.
Napa Cafe celebrates 28 years in 2026.
Hi, I'm Glenda Hastings, owner of Napa Cafe, and I want to thank you for making us part of your dining experiences. If you are a first-time guest or have dined with us countless times, I want to thank you for making us part of your lives. Whether you're celebrating with the crowd or planning a cozy date night on the town, Napa Cafe can provide you an extraordinary evening. We have 5 dining rooms, including our private wine cellar, our Jan's room for 2 guests, and the Eleanor room for parties up to 60. Sit back, relax, and celebrate. Leave the cooking to us. Come see me at Napa Cafe, 5101 Sanderlin Avenue. We're open Wednesday through Saturday for dinner starting at 5 o'clock. We also offer curbside pickup from our full menu. For details on our stay-in, dine-out menu or reservations, visit our website at napacafe.com. We can't wait to serve you.
Come join in and celebrate 28 years of Napa Cafe in 2026.
Shop President's Day savings at the Home Depot with up to 40% off select appliances like Whirlpool that can keep up with your busy routine. The Home Depot has Whirlpool laundry appliances with Fan Fresh. This feature fans and tumbles your laundry after it's done to help keep your clothes fresh until you're ready to grab them. Shop President's Day savings now and get up to 40% off. Plus, free delivery on select appliances at the Home Depot. How doers get more done. Free delivery on appliance purchases of $1,498 or more. Offer valid February 5th through the 25th. U.S. only. See store or online for details.
Crunch Time is brought to you by Humdinger's Taco Tuesday. Enjoy crunchy slaw, grilled fish, and chicken, and the best taco sauce in town. $2 tacos all day. The best deal in town.
This traffic brought to you by Old Dominic Distillery. Come for the spirits, stay for the experience. Cheers to Memphis. Learn more at olddominic.com.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good afternoon. As traffic volume increases right on schedule over here on 40 East coming past Sycamore View Road, trying to head out towards Fayette County. It's cranking up pretty good right now. 240 getting on there, way up to 385 Bill Morris Parkway. That's busier than it was 15, 20 minutes ago as you come past Riverdale. Hey, St. Jude's Children's Research Hospital is leading the way the world understands, treats, and defeats childhood cancer. If you can help these kids, please do. Log on right now to stjude.org. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, and W253DF Memphis with John Harden. Weekdays from 11 to 1. Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour brought to you by Jaguar Land Rover Bluff City. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Welcome back into Sports Time. Bryant and Brett with you as we start our third and final hour on this Tuesday afternoon. We've got to talk the NFL. Again, a reminder, we're out a little early today. We're out at 5:30. Ole Miss baseball. They're in action tonight against Southern Miss. So we'll get you out there for pregame starting at 5:30 for that first pitch at 6 o'clock. But let's not waste any more time because we've got to talk the NFL with Bo Marchant.
National Football League talk every Tuesday with Bo Marchant, covering the NFL Draft at collegetopro.com and the NFL Draft Bible, covering the Steelers for Sports Illustrated, living and running in Eastern Ohio, and on Twitter X at Bo Marchant. Here's Bo with Bryant and Brett.
Bo Marchant joins us now to talk the NFL like he does every single week. And Bo, it feels like these last couple of days, everywhere I look, if it's an NFL topic, it's about an 18th game being added. It feels like we are very close to some sort of announcement from the NFL about an 18th game coming with kind of a set year of when that will start. What do you think that will look like, and how early do you think that will be implemented for the league?
Well, I mean, maybe 2028, 29. And I know when we kind of hear about it, the NFLPA gives some pushback, and I obviously, you got to play hardball a little bit. They're not just going to give up that game, but we know that'll be the prelude for them taking another preseason game away, extending the schedule, and I think more importantly, I think it just more overseas games too. I think that's the other avenue that I think the NFL wants to venture into. So, I think that the overseas games, we know that one less preseason game, and I think it's oversaturated. I'm not going to lie. I think. I think it's particular years. Like, I think this particular year, I didn't find much interest in the final weeks. I think teams can sit guys. And when we talk about player safety, I don't know how you can clamor to the idea that safety is the most prized possession of the NFL when they want these guys to play more games.
Yeah, no.
Well said, Bo. Just don't hit me with the player safety stuff. And you've added from 16 to 18 games. If anything, we should have been cutting a preseason game when we were playing 16 and considering 15. And when I used to would say that to some NFL people, oh, you can't play an odd number game. We went to 17 and didn't blink an eye.
Yeah, and we'll do the same. I joke around about it, but you almost wonder where, almost like pitching, where you used to see pitchers go full games. And I know they're never going to bench Patrick Mahomes in the middle of the third quarter, but, in an important game. But I don't know, maybe it gets to that point where you really want to preserve certain positions.
Yeah.
And not tanking like you hear in basketball, but, I think there is a point where, you want to preserve, and just say, hypothetically, you're the Tennessee Titans in 2029 and you're 15-0 and you got 2 games left. Are you going to play Cam Ward? Absolutely not, unless there's another team that's 14-1, but you assume everybody else is, 3 or 4 games back. So the final 2, again, this is all hypotheticals, but Yeah, I don't like the addition of the games, and I just think as these platform and streaming stations come on, there's more, every single night there's a game, and I know people love to bet it, but I like to watch it. And there is one point where, as much as I love it, there is a night where I just like to relax my mind and get refreshed in a couple days. Now, Monday night, you go to bed, I'm thrilled because, Tuesday I talk to you guys, the adrenaline pumped. Wednesday, and then Thursday, I am a little bit ready, but I just think when we start getting to the holidays and it's Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, along with college football, I'm footballed out a little bit. Not that much because I still love it. Don't think I'm, but instead of 110%, I'm at like 105%.
Yeah, I love it too, but I love steak, but all I need is 8 ounces. I don't need a 32-ounce porterhouse.
Is that your go-to steak?
It is. I always get the smallest one on the menu, and that's plenty for me.
Oh, that's fair enough. I tend to overeat. My wife makes fun of me for it, so yeah. And
especially when you're in New Orleans at Doris Metropolitan, I know the size steak you get there. You're known there. As soon as I walked in, they knew I was a friend of yours.
Yeah, great place. Actually, my aunt and uncle went down there last week, and they said any place good, and I recommended Doris right off the cuff. And I said, yeah, Doris, my aunt's a big steak eater. I said, Aunt Shar, you'll love going there. You'll love the atmosphere and a great place. But yeah, definitely a great place if you're heading to NOLA.
I love that.
It sure is. Bowen, another thing about the expanded going to 18, we're not going to have expansion because we're going to have de facto expansion to the international games. That's going to be a game a week along the 18 games. They'll have one in a far-flung, exotic place, and that will be expanding internationally by playing the 18th, having a game every week.
Yeah, and we saw the pushback by Kyle Shanahan on the 49ers having to play the Rams in Australia week one. And, in the timetable, you're taking basically a short flight from San Francisco to L.A., and now you're turning that into an Australia trip. So I can see where teams are somewhat concerned. Especially, that's a whole nother type of environment type flight. You're going to Australia. You're really going around the globe. I think we're kind of used to the idea of, as we like to say, going across the pond to England and as such. But it's a slippery slope. There's a lot. I think there's a lot that goes into it. The world climate. I don't want to become political, but I think there's a lot of things to think about when we're sending Americans overseas, and especially high-profile people. I just think there's when you think outside the box, I would love to go see the Steelers play in, Australia. I'd have no problem. I would have no problem with that, But on the flip side, there's certain things I think you have to look, and I think the NFL does its due diligence, but as we talked with player safety, I think the thing they're going to do is the first thing above all, they're going to look at the bottom line. How much money can we make? How much can we expand the brand? And everything else after that is expandable. Mm-hmm. Player safety on all sides. So.
Yeah.
Great points, Bo, and you're right. There's one thing going to jolly old merry old London, but it's another when you cross that international date line and you're going. You're going to where it's already Tuesday over there. That's a different thing, and we don't want anybody hurt anywhere. We don't want anybody hurt. In a game between the Rams and the 49ers played in those two cities. But what if you have that very serious injury that requires a week and a half, 2-week hospital stay there? You're going to have your own team with people there for the player, and your own medical people will have to stay back.
Yeah, that's a great point there, too. You think about all the dynamics, the things that you don't want to think about, as in any emergency or bad situation, the things that arise that when those things happen, like, are they going to be prepared? Are they going to have the elite facilities? And again, I don't know. I'm not an overseas expert on hospitals, and but I believe in our system here. I think we're state of the art. I would assume we are, or close to it. So I don't know where everybody else fares. Maybe some are better. I don't know.
I don't want to be in the hospital across the street, but I sure don't want to be a couple of time zones away. And I know in the college world, on every Ole Miss football trip, they have a doctor and one or two other people that go on it, and they're prepared to stay if a player is requiring, a overnight or 2 or 3 night stay in one of these towns, not far from us. So the NFL sure going to have to do it for something like that, and probably already do.
Yeah, they probably already do. I mean, it's a topic we've really never touched base on because we've really never had to discuss, just the avenues of where the NFL's going in terms of, playing so many games outside the states and expanding the brand. But that's part of it. The world is getting smaller. I mean, we see it. Look how big soccer is. I mean, it's wild that, you turn on or you open up your ESPN up, and instead of seeing maybe the Yankees versus the Mets, you're seeing Manchester United. And, that I have no problem with it, but it's just how everything is kind of the smaller scale is, because we can get everything so quick over our phones and through the internet.
Yeah, no, it really is. I saw a story. Obviously, everyone's starting to talk about the NFL draft, but you always see the redrafting last year's draft, redrafting the draft 10 years ago. If last year's draft was the one coming up in a couple weeks, do you think Cam Ward would still be the number 1 pick?
Oh, wow, that's a hard one. I would say so. I mean, I'm sure somebody, if you really want to, pull hairs here, I would say Cam Ward is still the guy. I mean, he played good enough on a not an odd. The team wasn't that great, and they're building it up. So I think that would be not an easy sell, but I would feel comfortable in selecting Cam Ward, and that's the hindsight of Micah Parsons went 1 pick after this guy and all that stuff. I mean, there's a reason Patrick Mahomes lasted as long as he did, and it was evident that every team in the league should have clamored to the number 1 pick overall and gave them everything they had to get a guy like Patrick Mahomes. But in the moment, you don't know what these guys are going to be capable of. Sometimes you do fall in love with a certain player, and every team does that. But nonetheless, I just think the hindsight stuff it's fun to think about, but I think in reality, because hey, you did make your pick, and that's the bed you got to lie in.
But, Bo, last week we talked about all the conversation around Ty Simpson, and I made the comment that in my life I've seen 15 Alabama quarterbacks better. I got an interesting a DM from someone about that. It was an Alabama fan that said he didn't know how old I was, but he thought 15 was high. But he made the point. He goes, well, we know Alabama thought more of Jalen Milroe than Ty Simpson because he sat behind him for 2 years.
That's a great point. And Jalen was a 3rd-round pick?
Uh-huh.
And a 3rd-round pick. And, it's kind of funny going into last season, you think about Seattle, and, we all had our doubts about Sam Darnold, and you wondered, what week might Jalen Milroe get his call to start? And now you think, wow, now he's just kind of tucked on the back of that roster, and unless Sam gets hurt, it's Sam's show for a while.
He'll never see the field.
He'll never see the field. Simpson, again, he's, I think another year might have served him better, even though he's considered the second prospect. But I think there's a little calculated work there, too, because we know next year's draft class should be a little bit heavier in the quarterback position, so then you kind of get lost in translation. So, maybe in going from a late first to a number 2 quarterback, you might, drop to the bottom of 2, 3rd round then. So I think that, and again, I'm just speculating on where Ty Simpson was coming, mindset of, entering the draft. So I told you guys, I like him. I really do. I like him. He's so short. I mean, that's going to be the killer. If teams can get past that, and I think some teams, they might not say it, or they might just say it, but, they might just not even say, he's too small. He doesn't meet our dynamics, our measurements for a quarterback. He's, barely, 6'1". He's not, and I think I don't think there's one thing you can look at Ty Simpson and say he's elite at this particular thing. But, I do like him. I watching his tape. I think he's a charismatic quarterback. I love his energy in the pocket. He has to hold on to the ball more. I think he had 5 or 6 fumbles last year, and that'll, be credited to his size and him being reckless with the football, which is an absolute no-no at the next level. So, but with all that said, you're still talking, round 1 or, at least day 2 quarterback. So, he can't be that bad, but we know he's not considered elite.
What do you make of this Reuben Baines story that's making headlines over the weekend?
I think it's kind of shocking that the school or whoever, PR, was able to keep this under wraps for as long as they did, and it didn't come to, fruition until, when it did, 2 weeks, 10 days before the draft. So I think that's kind of a scary thing, to think that something so dramatic by a high-profile player can be swept, under the rug the best they could. But it doesn't seem, at least from the reports, and I don't know if we'll get any more thing out of, what was already reported, but you got to think that there was no criminal act, nothing happened. It was a wreck, a horrific wreck, and he was back to normal, and he plays at a high level, and we don't know internally what teams are thinking, but I think draft-wise, I still think him and David Bailey. I think Bain. I still think he's my favorite defender in the draft class in terms of the D-line guys and edge type, players in the draft. So I don't know. I don't think it hurts him. I mean, what was it? Jalen Carter from the Eagles that was in the wreck? Was it Jalen Carter?
Georgia.
Yeah, and I think and then he went 9 overall. So I think he was higher than a 9. I mean, you could argue he was probably top 3 or 5. But I don't know if this affects Bain that much, just in terms of where he's probably going anyways. You figure he's going to be a top 10 guy, and I still think he's going to be a top 10 guy, especially with the Saints. You look at the Chiefs, the Giants. I doubt the Browns would take him at 6, but I think once you get from that 5, the Giants, absent of the Browns, all the way down to the Bengals, I think you really look at saying, okay, this is his landing zone between 5 and 10.
Yeah, well,
after the 6.
Definitely. Yeah, well, it'll be interesting to see what it looks like over the next couple weeks with the draft really heating up. But Bo, as always, thanks so much for joining us. Enjoy the rest of your week, and we'll do it again next Tuesday.
Stay safe, gentlemen.
Thanks, Bo.
Thank you, Bo, so much. Thank you so much.
Bo Marchant joining us to talk all things NFL as the draft quickly approaching. But again, we are out early this afternoon, 5:30. We'll get you over to Ole Miss pregame against Southern Miss with that game starting at 6 o'clock.
Would you take Cam Ward? If we redrafted, would you take Cam Ward? I would.
Sure. I think so. I think Landon's the one to ask the question. If we redrafted, would you take him at number 1?
Absolutely.
Okay. All right. So no faith lost for our.
If Jeremiah Love is there when the Titans draft him, I'm taking him.
Don't look back.
I definitely would take him. I wish he would still be around when the Cowboys are on the clock, but that is definitely not going to happen. But again, we're out early today, so let me remind you about our 5 o'clock sponsor. It's Jaguar Land Rover Bluff City. Jaguar Bluff City has been the premier Jaguar dealership for the greater Memphis area since 1984, and their talented team is ready to help you find your next perfect vehicle at unbeatable rates. Swing by Jaguar Land Rover Bluff City today and check out those brand new models like the Range Rover Sport, the Range Rover Velar, and the Defender. Test drive the Range Rover Sport, where luxury meets performance. It's a perfect mix of style, performance, and versatility, with options ranging from 360 horsepower up to 635. It's also available as a plug-in hybrid electric vehicle with $7,500 federal tax credit when leased with approved credit. Take a look at the Range Rover Velar, powered by mild hybrid technology and enhanced with the latest well-being features and fully connected entertainment system. The Range Rover Velar is the ultimate luxury compact crossover. Purchase yours today and get special 4.4% for 72 months financing, available with approved credit. Don't forget about the Defender, available in multiple models to fit your needs. The Defender is built for the modern explorer, and Jaguar Bluff City is offering special interest rates for 60 and 72 months on various models. Give them a call, 877-259-6169. Go online to jaguarbluffcity.com, but head out there and test drive all these vehicles. 6335 Wheel Cove, just off of Quince, for Bluff City Jaguar. Let's go ahead and get to an early Humdinger's Crunch Time.
This is pretty cool, and we're just getting started.
Spanning the globe.
Go crazy, folks! Go crazy!
This game has always been called the world's greatest cocktail party. Do you know what is going to happen here tonight?
This is for all the biggest crunch time.
You are looking live. In your life have you seen anything like that?
Crunch time between the hedges.
The ball game is over, and Memphis has its first win in 16 tries. Its first win ever against its fierce in-state rival Tennessee.
Goodbye! It's obviously crunch time.
Hammer, nail, coffin, this baby is over.
Well, it's Tuesday. That means Crunch Time is brought to you by Humdinger's Taco Tuesday. Enjoy crunchy slaw, grilled fish and chicken, and the best taco sauce in town. $2 tacos all day. It is by far the best deal in town. Well, Brett, what I learned today is Penny Hardaway and his staff have been very, very busy this afternoon. We mentioned earlier the addition of Ruhard Zvavers, the forward from Washington State that shot over 41% from three last season. But in the last 20 minutes, another addition for the Tigers out of the transfer portal. Brandon Cummings, a sophomore, a 6'3", 175-pound sophomore guard
Love
from
this one.
Pitt. He is joining the team, appeared in 19 games last year, made 9 starts, averaged 12.5 points, 1.5 rebounds, 2.1 assists per game last year. More of a slashing guard, likes to get to the rim, likes that kind of dribble, mid-range jump shot. So very interesting addition, a guy with still 2 years of eligibility remaining. So 2 pickups to start for Memphis after a lot of talk, with today being a week since the portal opened. There had been a lot of talk of, is it time to get worried with Memphis not having any commitments yet? But now, in the last couple of hours, 2 commitments for Penny Hardaway and his staff.
Well, today we learned of the sad passing of Titans radio analyst Dave McGinnis, passing away at 74 years of age. So colorful. It's colorful analyst with Mike Keith for so long, and last year, in the first year that Taylor Zarzer was on play-by-play, he made in the car on Sundays a lot of fun for me driving back from wherever and listening to the NFL from the state of Tennessee. Frank Wycheck and Dave McGinnis, both gone now. That's something. They were fun guys to listen to.
Yeah, no, they definitely were, and definitely sad news for Nashville and that Titans organization. Well, what I could have done without Iowa football, had to vacate 4 wins from the 2023 season due to tampering violations. I
thought maybe it was due to too much passing.
Well, that also could be it. We saw a lot more passing, but it has to do with Cade McNamara and how they communicated with him before he entered the transfer portal. And look, I understand, that people want things done when it comes to how other teams are contacting players before and when the portal isn't opening, but vacating 4 wins from a season 2 years ago, I mean, how much of a difference is that really going to make for anybody?
That's your NCAA.
I mean, I guess so, but I mean, that's like, I remember earlier in the season when the NBA was fining the teams for tanking. Everyone was going, I mean, the amount that they're fining these teams, that's not going to stop anybody. Who cares? They'll pay that and they'll move right along. It's like the same thing here. Does anyone at Iowa going, oh man, vacating 4 wins, we better stop it right now while we're ahead? That is the least that they're going to do to us. I don't understand it.
All it means is a more confusing media guide.
Well, that's right. It's going to mess up those previous records and different things. So just a bunch of nothing from the NCAA.
I could have done without last night. My Predators just missing the Stanley Cup playoffs, but my real hockey club, the Philadelphia Flyers, they made it. Me and Pat Donahue at the Rendezvous, we're going to be the ones watching our Flyers in the playoffs. They haven't won it since going back-to-back in 74 and 75 with Bobby Clark and the Brutes that were the Broad Street Bullies.
Wow. Well, Brett, I should be the one saying I'm sorry or you're welcome about that, because it was the Kings who beat the Kraken last night to secure their spot in the playoffs. If the Kraken had won, then the Predators would still be alive.
That's what did it to me, huh?
That's exactly what did it to you. So I guess I have to apologize for that. Where are you beaming tonight?
Pittsburgh for the first place Buccos hosting the Nationals. PNC Park. Get rocking for the 10-6 Pirates. Connor Griffin only hitting 152 and still homerless.
Well, that's not a great start for him, but 19 years, he's still trying to figure it out. Beam me to this first play-in game tonight, Heat and Hornets. A lot more excited about this game than the second game, but I do think both are going to be a lot of fun. Both on Prime gets us started with the postseason in the NBA.
Wave those towels, Charlotte. That'll be fun. Marlins at Braves, Cleveland at Busch Stadium, and Texas at Homeless A's in Sacramento.
Yeah, going to be a fun night. All the baseball, the basketball as well. A lot to watch, but again, a reminder, we're getting you out there for Ole Miss and Southern Miss. A big game tonight for those two teams. Pre-game getting started in a couple minutes. First pitch at 6 o'clock, but that's all the time we have. Enjoy the rest of your night. We'll talk to you again tomorrow afternoon.